Good morning. Welcome to the stream, everyone. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. Everyone like the video. We got a lot going on. This story in the thumbnail about Kamala, this is wonderful because we want as much division between Democrats as possible. I'm going to get into that story. But we got some problems, too, in the Senate race. We got a lot going on that we got to hit on today. This is one of those days. Oh, man. How do you guys like the rebroadcast I've been doing in the evenings on my channel here? We may have a guest on later today. Not sure. The guest that we may have is someone that you all know, I promise you. Oh, by the way, all the members, I put up a new little video this morning that I made a couple hours ago. So make sure you members go and check out all that exclusive member content, including the video I put up this morning, little vlog. Hey, Wookiees. Jeff, welcome. This is our top of the hour break. We got about a minute until we're on the air. Gotta leave for work. Well, that's a MAGA person. When's the last time you heard a liberal say, I gotta go to work? Oh, executive action on climate change. Oh, my goodness.
On the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you fired.
Thank you, Bernadette.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, welcome to the program. Good morning, everyone. Oh, my goodness. Do we have a lot to talk about on the radio today? I was just listening to the top of the hour news, so they did this slow thing yesterday. Biden's going to announce executive action on climate change. You know, what's been going on in the news for, I don't know, about the last 18 hours. Because yesterday, late in the morning around noontime, all of a sudden this story came out that Biden may issue an executive order on climate change, and now it's morphed into that he's going to do it. They've been reporting on these high temperatures. And have you seen this story? I saw this on Fox News yesterday, and then I saw it on CNN this morning before I left for the radio station. There was a house fire outside of London in the UK, in England. Did you see this? It's a local news story on the local news in London. And the house fire spread a little bit, and like the whole yard burned down. I saw a car burn down. Is it true that fires in England only burn on the left? I don't know. They only burn on the left side? I don't know. But anyway, it's a local news story, and I'm watching Fox yesterday, and they show this house fire on the local news from England, outside of London, they said, and then they start talking about the executive action on climate change. And the way that this story was, and I was talking about Fox News doing this, and then I saw CNN doing it really early this morning. Are they suggesting that global warming caused this house outside of London to spontaneously combust into flames? They keep showing these temperatures. Yeah, it's hot. It's the summertime, man. August is the hottest month of the year. We're running spots for Cut My Kilowatts to bring down your electric bill at home, right? You hear that? It's the hottest time of the year. So, of course, it's hotter. Oh my goodness. And, I've lived in Florida almost my entire life, and I've been coming to Florida before I lived here since I was a little kid. I used to come here every summer, visiting my grandparents and my dad before I lived here. And it was always super, super hot, over 100 degrees. I remember when I was a little kid, around 1980-ish, I don't remember, I was a little kid, so it might have been like the late 70s or maybe up to 82-ish. But somewhere in that window, I was in Florida every summer, and my grandparents lived in Okeechobee. So I spent my summers as a kid on Lake Okeechobee. And at the time, they don't do this anymore. I haven't seen this in a long time, I guess because all the technology we have now. But back in the 70s and 80s, in Florida, every bank, on the sign of the bank, had a big digital sign that would give you the time and the temperature. Do you remember this? And I was from Ohio, and as a little kid, I'd be down here. And I remember these signs like it was yesterday because it was like blew my mind away as a little kid. Temperatures were regularly over 100 degrees. 110, 112, 115. And I remember I'd go back home to Ohio, and I'd tell all my little friends in elementary school, it was 110 in Florida. But I spent a lot of time as a little kid out on Lake Okeechobee. And Lake Okeechobee is not a deep lake. It's always been a shallow lake, Lake Okeechobee. I know we got a lot of listeners on our news stations around Lake Okeechobee. Oh man, my father was a prison guard at that prison in Belglade, and my grandparents lived in Okeechobee, and I spent a lot of my youth up there. I remember it was so hot, and there was such a drought, and Lake Okeechobee was so low that I was out, and I'm not exaggerating, I was out in the middle of Lake Okeechobee, and there were people that were standing in the middle of Lake Okeechobee fishing. You know how people wade when they fish? I mean, in the middle of the lake. So this is just, what's going on with this executive action on global warming that Biden is going to issue. It's all fake. It's a distraction. In the UK, inflation is almost 10%. Here in the United States, I don't want to know what real inflation is. The rate is. It's that high. You know this. Everything costs more money. Everything costs more money. And when every little item at the store costs a couple dollars more, that hits you hard, and you know what's going on with gas. So this executive act, they're trying to give us a new crisis to focus in on. And it's going to be climate change. There is a measure that I have used since the beginning of this, that the seas are not rising. Now, like I said, spent my little youth there in Okeechobee, but I grew up in Fort Lauderdale. All right? I grew up in Fort Lauderdale. I went to high school in Fort Lauderdale, and I spent my entire teens and 20s on the beautiful Fort Lauderdale beach, which is, I think, the best beach in all of Florida. Anyway, I use a measure to show you that the seas are not rising. Now, here in Florida, if the seas are rising, we would be concerned about it because Florida is a peninsula. Okay? And Fort Lauderdale Beach, we have historical evidence that goes back over 60 years to show that the seas are not rising. And I'm going to give you a couple of references, but the best reference is this. There's a classic movie. Some of you that are longtime listeners may have heard me use this. You've heard about the yardstick that the climate alarmists use that they tell you. This is my yardstick, and it's a yardstick that anyone can check. In fact, I might do a vlog on YouTube on this. I've been wanting to do it for a long time. Now that he's doing this executive action, maybe I'll do that if I have time, if the weather's good over the weekend. I don't know if it's going to rain over the weekend. I don't want to do it if it's raining. There is a classic movie that I have seen 100 times because it takes place in wonderful Fort Lauderdale, Where the Boys Are. The original Where the Boys Are from 1960. You guys know Where the Boys Are? Tim Hutton, George Hamilton. And I watched that movie when I was a kid all the time because they filmed it in all the places I was hanging out at. First job I had, it was at a place that's in that movie, Bahia Mar, on Fort Lauderdale Beach. Tim Hutton's character, Jim Hutton, Tim Hutton's his son. Jim Hutton staying at the Bahia Mar. It's where I had my first job, on the Fort Lauderdale Beach. But anyway, in the beginning of that movie, they do an aerial flyover Fort Lauderdale Beach. And throughout the movie, they go to the beach on Fort Lauderdale. They filmed it here. And there's a landmark in that movie that shows that the seas are not rising. They not only the fly over Fort Lauderdale Beach, but they go to the Elbow Room, which is the oldest bar on the beach, the Elbow Room, on A1A and Las Olas Boulevard. Okay? And the Elbow Room is today where it was then, and that movie was 60 years ago. More than 60 years ago when they filmed that movie. Did it come out in 60 or 61? I'll look. But it's about 60 years old. The Elbow Room in 1960 on A1A and Las Olas Boulevard is in the same place today that it was then. The beach is in the same place today it was then. And the water, get this is crazy. The ocean waters are in the same place in 1960 as they are in 2020. And that is the measure to watch. I use that as my proof that the seas are not rising. Where the boys are. Sometimes people laugh at me about this, but then they think about it and they say, you know what, that is a primary source. I studied history in college. And in history, you want a primary source of information. Where the Boys Are is a scientific primary source of information on sea levels off the coast of Fort Lauderdale. And I'm not kidding when I share that with you. I have more examples. Scarface, now that's a little later, that's the 80s. Scarface and Miami Vice. There were so many scenes in Scarface and in Miami Vice down on South Beach. On South Beach where they got that big clock? They had the big shootout with the guy with the chainsaw in Scarface, and on Miami Vice, they were down there all the time. Now we're going back like 40 years. So first example's 60 years, now we got 40 years on South Beach in Miami, and guess what? The ocean and A1A and the beach are the same place 40 years ago on Miami Vice and Scarface that they are today. Listen, we're going to take our break. Callers on hold, stand by. My name is Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show. So why is Biden doing this? We'll take your calls and I'll tell you why after the break. This is the longest running radio show in Florida. Be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now.
Sabrina, new member to the channel, welcome. Make sure you check out all that exclusive member content, including the new video I put up this morning before I came in. Freedom Soup. Those are real examples. I'm not kidding. Those movies are great. Great primary sources of information. Like right now, I don't know. I get that. You ever see Huckabee talk about that kids thing about American history and citizenship you can send for free? I sent for that, and for myself. It's for little kids, but I like reading it because about America and all that. And they got I got part 2 of a 3-part series on the Civil War. So I was like, you know what? I haven't read about the Civil War in a while. So I said, let me get a book on the Civil War, and I'm reading Jefferson Davis's History of the Confederate States of America. That's a primary source of information because he was the Confederate president and he was there. These movies in Miami Vice and Where the Boys Are, Scarface, these are primary sources of information. Steve Kane Show. Hold on. Steve Kane Show. Hold on. Steve Kane Show. Hold on. I mean, this is ridiculous. I wasn't going to talk about this at all today, but then they morphed that from Biden might issue an executive order on the climate emergency to it's happening. So I felt I got to talk about it. Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane Show. Hey, Joe, hold on. Are you guys enjoying the restream I've been doing of the radio show the last couple nights? I ask because it takes a lot of time to do that.
I'm coming down with something. But did you ever think you might not be sick? You might have an allergy. Find out and have your allergies tested at any lab test now of Coral Springs or any lab test now of Boca. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located at 955 North University Drive on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Square.
Okay, good. You see, like when I wake up, like I woke up this morning around 3, so I put a little thing in the chat.
South of Palmetto and north of Hillsboro. Call them at 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. They will test for both environmental and food allergies.
All right, we're coming back.
Is necessary. Make sure you mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Yes. All right. We are back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. There is only one opening on the board, so I'm going to go right to the phones. 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-GO-KANE-1. That's K-A-N-E and the number 1 numerically. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Carol from Boca Raton.
Hey.
I'm now becoming a regular.
That's okay. No, we don't call them regulars. We call them chronics, but that's okay. Chronic callers. That's okay.
Came out with 2 movies. One is called Climate Hustle 1 and called Climate Hustle 2, and it proved no such thing as global warming.
Well, I don't need to watch Climate Hustle and all of that. Everyone, hold on. Let me, Carolyn, slow down. Let me talk here. Okay, the reason that climate change, which used to be called global warming, has fallen apart and has no credibility. Do you know why? Why does no one believe it? Why do you think? It's not Climate Hustle. Why do you think?
Because my teacher was an astrophysicist, a meteorologist, a climate.
No, your teacher is not why no one believes it. The reason that climate change, global warming has fallen apart is because it's an observable fraud. We all know it's BS. They've been, I've got an article. I'm going to read through it in a little bit, warning us of climate change if we don't act. And the article was written in 1989, and life would be over if we didn't act before the year 2000. So, it's an observable fraud that we're living through. And as opposed to watching Climate Hustle, watch Where the Boys Are from 1960, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Big movie.
Yeah. I know the gays have embraced that movie, but that's not the reason to watch it.
What I really wanted to say is that there is an article on DuckDuckGo called The History of Fossil Fuels. It goes back to 2.5 billion years. It's when the Earth had no oxygen on it whatsoever, and the shale kept coming up, as well as the geodes and all these other...
Well, that's another thing, Carol, okay? Fossil fuels, that's what? Oil, coal, are those the only... natural gas? Those things are not fossil fuels. That's part of one of the big liberal lies. Fossil fuels tell us that oil, which is our primary concern, comes from dead plants and dinosaurs, right? And I used to wonder when I was a kid and I was in school, why, and I remember asking my teacher, because they were always talking, because this was like during the Carter era and I was in elementary school. And, so we had the oil crisis, right? And they would always talk about fossil fuels. And I remember I'd asked my teacher, I said, fossil fuels, I don't understand, because the oil is so deep underground. Why are the dinosaurs so deep underground that they're getting the oil from, not as opposed to on top of the ground? And then they said, well, every 100 years, the surface of the earth rises 1 inch. There's 1 inch of soil added to the surface every year. So where the oil used to be the surface. That's crap. Those are all lies.
Earth, and that's what.
No, those are all lies. Those are all lies. Do you know? All right, Carol, thank you for the call. Carol's not listening to me. She's just talking at me. So, I'm talking at her. She's talking at me. So, call is on hold, standby. So anyway, the dinosaurs used to be like hundreds and thousands of feet below the surface, used to be the surface. That's nonsense. Jerome Corsi, who's an old friend of mine and Steve Kane's. You guys know Jerome Corsi? The Obama administration tried to kill him. He went to Kenya to interview Obama's brother by another mother in Africa, and the army grabbed him, put him in a cell with Somalian drug traffickers. Jerome Corsi, good guy. And Steve and I have known Jerome Corsi way back since the 2004 presidential campaign during the Swift Boat veteran days is where we first met Jerome Corsi. But Jerome Corsi wrote a book that is an amazing book. It's available on Amazon for about a penny. I'm not kidding, because it's an old book. No one knows about it. And I no longer have my copy. I got to get another copy. Maybe Jerome will send me an autographed copy. But it's called Black Gold Stranglehold and tells the truth about oil. And this is what I learned from Jerome Corsi. Do you know where oil comes from? Same goes for coal, the so-called fossil fuels. It does not come from dead dinosaurs. It does not come from old plants. Where does it come from? I'm not going to troll for calls on this. I'm just going to tell you. Where does it come from? Think about it. Do you know? The earth makes it. The earth manufactures coal and oil. It is a limitless resource. That doesn't mean a well doesn't dry up, then you find another one. But the earth makes it. And the reason that the left have sold the lie, the fossil fuel lie, when it's not, it's made by the earth, is so that they can make you think it is not an infinite source, that it's a limited resource. In fact, that fraud, Bill Nye, the science guy, who's not a scientist, he used to do the energy exhibit at Epcot Center here in Florida, in Orlando, at Walt Disney World. And I remember at the time, this was like 20 years ago, he said, we only have 200 years of oil left, so we need to find new sources of energy. No, the earth will never run out of oil because it makes it. Same goes for coal. It is not a limited resource. Don't believe any of that stuff. But Jerome Corsi's book, Black Gold Stranglehold, get it. If you can find it on Amazon for like a penny, maybe eBay, it's a very good book. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Louisiana.
Oh, hey, Louisiana.
Hey, this morning, I was listening to you talk this morning. I wasn't going to call your show, so I decided to go ahead and call. I was listening to you talk about that movie, which I didn't know, I didn't see.
Where the Boys Are.
Okay. What I'm saying is, you don't believe that there's climate change?
Well, hold on. Climate change, I mean, it's the climate, today, this morning, it's much cooler than it'll be when I get off the air when the sun comes out. So there's changes in weather all the time. Yeah, so I believe that weather changes, absolutely.
But you don't believe, but do you? Okay, I know you and your wife hope to have grandchildren one day, right?
Of course.
Do you want your grandchildren to have at least a good, clean, wholesome climate?
Now, you mean, do I believe that the climate of the earth is going to change and life as we know it will not be able to survive here? What are you asking me? Just, stop trying to be clever like me and just ask me what you're thinking, what you want to ask me.
I'm just saying, but what do you want your children, your grandchildren, and their grandchildren to have a nice environment
Yeah, but global warming is a lie. Climate change is a lie.
I don't think it is.
Well, give me the evidence. Give me the evidence. If the seas are rising, why did Barack Obama buy a multi-million-dollar mansion on the ocean? If the seas are rising,
maybe he did that. I don't know. Ask him.
I'm not going to ask him. I would like to ask him about that. Does that make sense? Would you spend over $20 million on a home that was going to be underwater?
Right. That's ask Obama. I'm not Obama. I don't know why he did it. Why don't you ask?
Don't you think I live on a peninsula, Florida, right? Don't you think if the seas were rising, I'd be concerned? You should be concerned. Well, they're not rising, and I gave you a primary. If you go and watch I am an expert because I live by the ocean and have my whole life. Yeah, I am. Hey, listen, I got to run for a break. Everyone, go watch Where the Boys Are, especially our South Florida people. Okay. And look, the Elbow Room is where it is today in 1960, and so's the ocean. Callers on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. My name is Brian Craig, back after this.
I am Craig. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning at 10 a.m. Now, here's the True Oldies weather forecast.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you're off to an awesome start. Our daytime high today, again, is going to be in the low 90s. We're going to be hot and humid with a good amount of Sahara dust around. I'm WTBF 25 First Warning Meteorologist Sandra Shaw.
Follow Oldies 95.3 and 96.9 on social media. See what's happening in the community, have a laugh with some funny memes, and keep in touch with other good time Oldies lovers. Facebook and Instagram at Oldies South Florida. True Oldies. Traffic check.
Right now on the Palm Beaches, the major expressways are waking up to accident-free roads. 95 and the Turnpike are moving up to speed from Boca Raton to Jupiter. We do have some overnight construction left in place out there in West Palm, though. On Banyan Boulevard, westbound at Quadro, a center lane is blocked. On Banyan Boulevard, eastbound at Quadro, 2 left lanes are blocked there. And also on Southern Boulevard, eastbound at Flagler Drive, 2 right lanes are blocked by more construction. This report is sponsored by the Florida Department of Health. Did you know the brain develops until you're 25? That means any drugs or alcohol that you put into your body affect the way your brain develops. You have the power to protect your brain. Check out the factsyourfuture.org for more. Your future depends on it. A message from the Florida Department of Health. That's traffic. Chris Barr.
Steve Kane Show.
Kane 2023 MAGA Cruise is a
Hold on. Okay, no, you already called. One call a day. One call a day. Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
Everyone with Liberal Out is invited. Join us for 7 nights on the Celebrity Apex at a Fort Lauderdale with ports of call and Tortola in the British Virgin Islands, St. Kitts, and San Juan, Puerto Rico. We'll have dinner together every night, onboard activities, shore excursions, and drinks are included. To join Steve Kane and me, Brian Craig, call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot, 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. No liberal stowaways allowed.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires.
Let's talk about things that matter. Well, if you don't think what I'm talking about matters, go get your own YouTube channel, go get your own radio show, and you can talk about the things that matter. All right?
My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
An honest auto mechanic, you probably don't think they exist, but one does. Eddie at Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca will never do a repair on your vehicle that your vehicle doesn't need. He works on all.
Good morning, Walter.
All old, classic cars, even hybrids. Champaign Automotive Repair is the official mechanic of the Steve Kane Show. Call 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101. And make sure you tell him you heard about him on the Steve Kane Show.
It's hurricane season, and if you have a wet spot on your ceiling, you have a leak in your roof. When we had a leak in our roof at the Kane household, we called Tom Laporta. He's the best in the business. Remember, small leaks turn into medium leaks, and medium leaks turn into big problems. Call a licensed...
If the weather's good and I have time this weekend, I'm going to do a vlog on where the boys are on the beach.
And tell them Steve Kane sent you.
You've seen the ads on TV, and you've heard your friends tell you about MyPillow.
I got to figure out how to do it, but
Right now at MyPillow.com, when you use the promo code Kane,
it's hurricane season, so it rains a lot this time of year. I want to do it on a sunny, hot day when the sun's out.
MyPillow.com for this incredible offer. Buy one MyPillow, get another one free. Go to MyPillow.com right now.
On the MAGA scooter? Maybe.
This is Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. Give me a call today.
I'm only going to do it if it's a sunny day, though. Because that's a video that will be a measure for decades to come about the climate change line.
939-1500. A sniffle here and a sneeze there. Your first thought is what? Uh-oh, I'm coming down with something. But did you ever think you might not be sick? You might have an allergy. Find out and have your allergies tested at any lab test now of Coral Springs or any lab test now of Boca. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located at 955 North University Drive on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Square. Give them a call. 954.
I hurt my throat yesterday a little bit, so I may not talk during the breaks as much as normal.
Any lab test now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is. South of
I have post-nasal drip sometimes, and I was laying down and it went and I coughed really hard like choking and I scratched my throat.
5009. They will test for both environmental and food allergies. No appointment is necessary. And make sure you mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
Do you suffer from neurology?
All right, here we go. Last spot, coming back.
Go into Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching have all but disappeared. Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-6642.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show, celebrating 45 years on the air.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. So Biden, it was being reported that Biden is going to sign an executive order on the climate crisis, the global warming scam. So that's why we're talking about that a little bit this morning. I'll take some more calls. I'll share a couple more thoughts. And before we move on to other things, because this is a big deal. They're going to start, remember the lockdown orders? They're going to start doing, if an executive order on climate change, who knows where that can go? It may start to limit our travel and things like this. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, this is Sandra from Indiana.
Hey, Sandra.
Hey, I lived in Florida back in the 60s. So I remember what the weather was like. I lived in Coral Gables, and we used to go to the Venetian Pool or to Miami Beach.
Oh, Venetian Pool's still there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place. It was a beautiful pool. And just a little bit of information. Look up the Coral Gable Times in 65 or 66 of a young girl riding a tricycle down Ponce de Leon. That was me.
Oh, that's you. All right.
As far as the climate, God created a perfect planet, and I believe it is just a natural progression that He built in to this planet.
No, there's don't buy into that. There is no global warming. It's a lie. There is no it's a lie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lie. It's a lie. Yeah, God made a perfect planet. He's not going to destroy it like that.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just nuts.
Well, it's this one. This isn't a nut thing. This is the Democrats are in trouble, right? People can't afford gas and food and rent and mortgage payments and things like this. So they're trying to distract us into being concerned about something else. That's why he's doing this. You know, who's going to be worried about the price of gas if the planet won't be able to support human life as we know it in the future?
Classes elementary school that the earth has unlimited resources.
It does.
That in elementary?
Well, they don't teach that anymore. That's been taken from the books.
Too busy teaching liberalism.
Yeah, they're too busy teaching critical race theory and transgenderism and stuff. Hey, listen, thanks for the call. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning. Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Vinny in Wellington. What's up?
How are you? I was just saying about Joe Biden. If he was so worried about climate control and climate, why didn't he say anything when they were burning up neighborhoods and cars and letting all that black plume in this?
Yeah, and if you believe that human activity will stop the Earth from being able to support life as we know it unless we make drastic changes, would you be flying on a jumbo jet back to Delaware every weekend, or would you just stay at home in D.C.?
Exactly. Even John Kerry has a charter flight airline. He also has all his jets going all over the place.
Exactly.
We have to unplug our refrigerator when we're sleeping.
Oh, yeah.
Save electric and save the planet. Meanwhile, they're the biggest hypocrites.
Yeah. So, if they were living the dream, if they were living this, and these people won't even jet pool, which means fly commercial, right? If they really believe this stuff, they would at least fly commercial to cut down on the pollution.
And you made a great point about Obama buying the house on the water.
Mm-hmm.
Oceans are rising, and he would buy a $20 million house. Absolutely.
It's a good question.
Good morning, man. Keep it.
All right. Well, Vinny in Wellington. Now, my wife found this article and sent it to me the other day. Listen to this. Listen to this article. It's an Associated Press article. This is the headline. United Nations predicts disaster if global warming not checked. This is an Associated Press article dated June 29th, 1989. That's right. I graduated high school in 1989. Yes. June 1989, Associated Press. A senior UN environmental official says entire nations could be wiped off the face of the earth by rising sea levels if the global warming trend is not reversed by the year 2000. 22 years ago, people. If we don't do this by the year 2000, coastal flooding and crop failures could create an exodus of eco-refugees, threatening political chaos, says Noel Brown, director of the New York office of the UN Environmental Program. He says we have a 10-year window. That's up to 1999 to solve the greenhouse effect before it goes beyond human control. As the warming melts polar ice caps, ocean levels will rise by up to 3 feet. Flat island nations will be covered in water. Coastal regions like 1/6 of Bangladesh can be flooded, displacing 90 million people. 1/5 of Egypt's arable land in the Nile Delta will be flooded, cutting off the food supply, according to the United Nations Environmental Program, if we don't act by the year 2000. Ecological refugees will become a major concern, and what's worse is you may find that people can move to drier ground, but the soils and the natural resources may not support life. Africa doesn't have to worry about land, but would you want to live in the Sahara? The United Nations estimates it'll cost the United States $100 billion just to protect the East Coast. Shifting climate, now keep in mind this was written in 1989. Shifting climate patterns would bring back 1930s Dust Bowl conditions to the Canadian and U.S. wheatlands. See, in 89, there were enough people around to know what the Dust Bowl was. The Soviet Union. That's how old this article is, right? Soviet Union. The Soviet Union could reap bumper crops if it adapts its agriculture in time. Excess carbon dioxide is pouring into the atmosphere because of humanity's use of fossil fuels and the burning of the rainforest. The atmosphere is retaining more heat than it radiates. The most conservative estimate that the Earth's temperature will rise 7 degrees in the next 30 years. Well, we're there, people. We're there. In fact, we're over that. This is over 30 years ago. The differences may seem slight, but the planet is only 9 degrees warmer now than during the Ice Age. The question is, will we be able to reverse the process in time? Well, we say that within the next 10 years, by the 1999, before the year 2000, given the present loads that the atmosphere has to bear, we have an opportunity to start stabilizing the process. The most conservative climate scientists tell us there's nothing we can do to stop a change of 3 degrees. We have to start thinking about significant rises in sea levels. We can expect more storms, more hurricanes, wind shear, dust, erosion. The time to act is now. We have a plan of action that by the end of 1990, in the adoption of a global climate treaty in 1992, that we may be able to slow this down. We have no clear idea about the ecological minimum of green space that the planet needs to function effectively, but what we do know is the tropical rainforest is being destroyed at 50 acres a minute. That's 1 football field per second. Each acre of rainforest can store 100 tons of carbon dioxide and reprocess it into oxygen. Oh my goodness. We've got to act now. If we don't act before the year 2000, we're done. It'll be too late. Are you kidding? This is Associated Press, June 1989. I'm not kidding. I put this on Twitter a few days ago if you want to go on my Twitter and read it. Do you think any of the reporters will bring this up to Jean-Pierre today? Do you think the Associated Press reporter will bring up their own article from 89 to Jean-Pierre and to Biden when he signs the executive action on the climate crisis? Oh, my goodness. All right, our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. My name is Brian Craig. This is the longest-running radio show in the state of Florida, the Steve Kane Radio Show. We are here on the radio weekday mornings from 5 a.m. till 9 a.m., broadcasting from North Miami all the way through Broward, all the way through Boca, the Palm Beaches, and all the way up into the Treasure Coast of Florida. And we are here taking your calls live on the radio every morning, and you are all welcome to call, regardless of your political thoughts, backgrounds. If you agree or disagree, all thoughts are welcome. This is a free-thinking space. This is not a public university where only one train of thought is allowed. All opinions are welcome here on this program. We'll take our last break of the hour, and then we'll be back. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, back after this. Of the hour, and then we'll be back. It's the Steve Kane Show.
The cold.
Rich, what happened?
Truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show on Oldies 95.3 and 96.9.
This is Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. Give me a call today to save up to 50%.
Rich?
And radiant therapy, and up to 35% on your electric bill. That's 954-939-5100.
Hey, Barry, it's Brian. Hold on. Rich! I got Barry on the line. I got him. We're all messed up now. He forgot what we were doing in that break, even though we talked about it 5 times before the show, so he messed up. He forgot what we were doing. Yeah.
8893.
Do
Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did, until I went to Lighthouse.
All right, what do you want me to do?
Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching.
We're going to have to come back on time, and I'll do it going out of the break. It's our only option.
For a free consultation, 754
I mean,
6642.
are we back? No.
On TV, and you've heard your friends tell you about MyPillow. MyPillow is guaranteed the most comfortable pillow you will ever own. Right now at MyPillow.com.
See, before when I was doing everything, the board op at the station didn't have to do anything. Just put the button on and I did everything. And now that we're networking, they got a lot to do, so they just forgot.
Go to MyPillow.com right now. Use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E.
It's hurricane season, and if you have a wet spot on your ceiling, you have a leak in your roof. When we had a leak in our roof at the Kane household, we called Tom Laporta. He's the best in the business. Remember, small leaks turn into medium leaks, and medium leaks turn into big problems. Call licensed contractor Tom Laporta for a free roof inspection. 954-604-4602. And tell him Steve Kane sent you.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. That's right, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 45 years on the radio. It's time to check in with attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Barry Siegel, good morning.
Good morning to you, Brian. How are you?
I'm doing well. What do you have for us this morning?
As you know, we do estate planning and elder law. But today I'm going to talk about not elder law, but younger law. And here we are. It's already July 20th. That means we're only a few weeks away from our children or our grandchildren heading off to college again. And many of them are going off to college as freshmen. Just maybe they're 17, maybe they're 18. You know, when they're under 18, parents have the ability to make decisions for their underage minor children. But once they turn 18, they're adults, then we don't have that. And it's very important to make sure that we have the legal documents in place, such as powers of attorney and healthcare, surrogates, and even HIPAA authorizations so that we are allowed to know what's going on. So imagine if they're going off to college, they're driving, they're going to parties, they're doing things. You know, of course, kids think they're invincible, nothing's going to ever happen. We need to make sure that they are prepared so the parents are able to handle situations. If any of those issues, God forbid, happen, parents are in position to be able to make decisions and receive information. That's why it's so important for kids turning 18 to have their documents when they're going off to college.
Yeah, that's right. And a lot of people say, well, my kid's 18, they you know, it's not my responsibility. It's your responsibility to pay all their bills still, isn't it, parents? So you still have parental responsibilities. Listen, attorney Barry Siegel is Steve Kane's attorney. He did all of his documents. And it's always a free consultation with the Siegel Law Group. If you mention you heard attorney Barry Siegel on the radio, and no matter where you are in the state of Florida, he can help you. He has physical offices throughout Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. But no matter where you are in Florida, with the age of Zoom, he can help you. His number is toll-free, 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, attorney Barry Siegel, take care. We'll talk later in the week.
All right, thank you, Brian.
All right, take care. All right, we are back. Okay, so this executive order that Biden is going to sign on the climate emergency, I just want to finish up with that, and your calls are most definitely still welcomed on that, but there's a lot going on politically that I want to talk about, too, beyond this executive order. I just want to finish up on this because if you watch the liberal news, I was watching this morning MSNBC and CNN as well as Fox before I came into the radio station. You got to watch everything, you know, and I know it's tough to watch CNN and MSNBC, especially MSNBC. That's very difficult. And it's difficult for me. I do it because, well, I have to. I need to know what the liberals are up to. And CNN and MSNBC, it's almost like if it were World War II, it would be like you were the Allies and you had a spy that was on broadcasting in high definition all the enemy plans. And they tell you everything. So I watch it. But I just want to finish up on the climate change thing. And then I'll move into some other things because we got a lot of big stuff we got to talk about on the program beyond Biden's executive order on the fake climate crisis. There's one thing that they're going to talk about a lot today. I've already seen it referenced, because they love to trash our great governor, Ron DeSantis, the governor of Ron DeSantis' Free Florida, the greatest governor ever of any state in the history of the union, Ron DeSantis. I love the man. And you know what? Every Floridian does. How could you not love this guy? He saved us during COVID, saved us from that Gillum creep, and he's just a perfect governor. But they're going to have a lot of liberals on television today telling you that everyone in Miami knows that the seas are rising. Okay? No, everyone in Miami knows they're not. And what they're going to point to is, in Miami, they have raised the sidewalks because of the rising sea levels. You're going to hear this mentioned today and throughout the week and the weekend after Biden signs the executive order. Let me tell you about that, okay? When Barry Soetoro was president of the United States, do you guys remember President Barry Soetoro? You know him as Barack Obama. When Barack Obama was president, he was all into this green scam. And he gave money to local cities to prepare for the global climate crisis that he says was going to hit us. And that's like 2008, right? And here we are now in 2022. Miami Beach, and I remember I was down in Miami Beach with my wife. My wife's doctor is in Miami Beach, so we go to Miami Beach all of the time. And so we're in Miami Beach, and they were building a new sidewalk that was 3 feet up off the road. I couldn't believe it. It was during construction. I'm like, who the hell is going to walk up there? And I've been there since they've completed it. The residents in Miami Beach wanted new sidewalks. So they used the Obama climate scam to get Obama to pay for all their new sidewalks. The only catch is they had to raise them like 3 feet off the ground. So and I've been there since. It is beautiful. I went down there when the building collapsed last year. Remember the building collapse of Miami Beach? And I tell you, those raised Obama sidewalk, it's a beautiful path to walk on, I'm here to tell you. But they point to that to tell you that Miami Beach knows. No, Miami Beach knows how to scam Democrats in Washington out of climate funds to get things built on the government's money. Don't believe any of that. You're going to hear a lot of that nonsense today. All right. If you'd like to call in on that, you are very much welcome to at the whole executive order from Biden on the climate change. I'm not going to do this now, but after the top of the hour, Marco Rubio is in trouble. Marco Rubio is in trouble, and we need Marco Rubio in the Senate. He's running against a creep, Val Demings, a BLM Democrat who was part of the impeachment team against our great president Donald Trump, who's trying to make people think she's a Republican. And I'm going to get into that after the break because Marco Rubio has a new ad out. I saw it on television, and when I went to get the ad, I was very disturbed by what I saw. So I've got to get the word out to the Republicans here in town to get to Marco Rubio. His campaign needs some help, and I'm going to give Marco Rubio some advice. I am serious as a heart attack. What happened yesterday really upset me about Marco Rubio. There's something going on, and I'm going to share it, but it can be fixed. Okay, and I'll share that with you after the top of the hour break. But I want to mention something. This is very good news. Now, you may have heard the story that Kamala Harris and Newsom are doing some fundraising, planning on running for president. Well, Trending Politics has a beautiful story today. Here's the headline. White House drama. Kamala Harris's serious backstabbing exposed. Dick Morris said yesterday this. Dick Morris, who we had on the program last week. Dick Morris says, quote, I keep hearing from sources close to the White House that Joe Biden is getting worse. The dementia is becoming noticeable and harder to control and harder to camouflage. There may be a move coming to invoke the 25th Amendment against Biden and replace him with Kamala. This is Dick Morris. Biden's people are pushing back against it at Harris, saying that she's not ready to be president. The only reason for them to do that is for pushback against the 25th Amendment coup. So then there's real talk now of the 25th Amendment. And you put that together with this fundraising story, and the Bidens are pissed. They already hate her, especially Jill, because she exposed Joe during the first Democrat debate. Remember this? When she pointed out that he was a segregationist who opposed the integration of public schools in America. She says, I was that girl. Remember all that? They've never forgiven Kamala for that. Now, why did he pick her? I think Obama. You know, Joe Biden's in love with Barack Obama. And there's a lot of rumors that Kamala wasn't just Willie Brown's girlfriend, but had some type of relationship with Barack Obama. And I'll tell you this. I've seen the two of them together when he was president, and there's chemistry between those two. I don't know if they had a thing, but there's definitely chemistry between the two, even if they never had a thing. And I think Barack got him to pick her, is how that happened. So but now, according to Dick Morris, there is real discussion inside the White House, outside the Biden wing of the 25th Amendment. And that fundraising she's doing, they're not donating her money to her because they think she's not going to be the president. And I know a lot of people will say, well, Kamala doesn't want it. She's afraid. Let me tell you, that's a page that will forever be in the history books of the United States. The first female president and the first minority female president. That's a big mark in history. And Willie Brown's girlfriend, girls come a long way. And believe me, she'll do it. She'll do it in a heartbeat if she thinks she can. And so this is wonderful because friction between Democrats is good news for us, and it's something that doesn't happen all that often. Remember, President Trump has said so many times, he doesn't say this these days in the rallies, but he used to say it all the time. One thing you could say about Democrats, they always stick together. Well, that's not really the case anymore, is it? And this is great news. There is more division among Democrats than we have ever seen. Ever. I just dropped everything on the floor here. I don't know if you guys heard it on mic. And division among Democrats is good news for us. So this backstabbing story, you know, even if it were not true, it is true, but even if it were not true, it's circulating out there, and that means Jill knows about it. Joe doesn't know what all he knows is it pudding night or Jello night, but Jill knows about it, and she's ticked. You know, all this talk about him not running again. Jill Biden, it doesn't want to give that up, being the first lady. And she's a first lady with a lot of juice because her husband's checked out and she's running the show a lot of the time, at least in her mind. So Joe plans on running for re-election and Jill plans on running for re-election. And this talk with Kamala Harris is causing tension inside the White House. That is wonderful. It is beautiful. So savor it. All right. We're going to take our break for the top of the hour. We're going to come back and try to save Marco Rubio. I'm serious about this. I was very disturbed yesterday by what's going on here with Marco Rubio's campaign, but it can be fixed. We'll also talk about the fake arrest with AOC and the squad and all of that stuff. And we do have a guest scheduled at the end of the show, which I'm not sure if it's been confirmed or not, but we'll check into that. That'll be at the very end of the show, the final segment right before the 9 o'clock hour. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest running radio show. Back after this.
The new Oldies 95.3 and 96.9 is here.
Just let me hear some of the
WWNN Pompano Beach, a VCMG live radio station. Now, here's the True Oldies weather forecast.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you're off to an awesome start. Our daytime high today, again, is going to be in the low 90s. We're going to be hot and humid with a good amount of Saharan dust around. I'm doing PBS 25 first warning meteorologist Sandra Shaw.
Follow Oldies 95.3 and 96.9 on social media. See what's happening in the community. Have a laugh with some funny memes.
Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
South Florida. True Oldies. Traffic check.
In the Palm Beaches, the major expressways are still crash-free this morning and moving up to speed from Boca Raton to Jupiter. But you want to be looking out for a disabled vehicle blocking your right shoulder in Boca Raton on 95 and southbound passing Palmetto Park Road. Also on the southbound side, just before Glades Road, there's also a disabled vehicle there blocking the right shoulder. The turnpike is incident-free, and the surface streets are also crash-free. All overnight construction is cleared. This report is sponsored by GetYourOilChange.com. Ready for the heat? Get your AC checked and recharged at Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Home with a 15-minute stay in your car contactless oil change where you never need an appointment. Go to GetYourOilChange.com to save up to 50% off your purchase today. That's traffic. I'm Chris Barr.
Here's your True Oldies ABC News update.
ABC News Now, I'm Lionel Moise. Funeral services for Ivana Trump in New York today, the first wife of former President Donald Trump. Sources telling ABC News their 3 children are expected to speak and that former President Trump and his current wife Melania will also attend. The New York Medical Examiner says the 73-year-old's death was a result of a fall. The Secret Service says it cannot recover messages from the day of the insurrection. ABC's Andy Field in Washington. The Secret Service saying it's doing all it can to recover those
That wouldn't surprise me, Mike.
messages, but says it's not likely they can. That despite Homeland Security telling the agency to retain those texts during an internal investigation. Secret Service says they were erased when they moved phones over to a new system. The House committee wants to know what agents were doing and saying. As 100 million Americans are under alert for heat, President Biden will announce executive action on climate.
I stand up so much. I stand up more than a Walmart cashier. I have a standing desk at home. The reason I stand up during the show is you're more energetic. Most guys that are on the air sit down, put you to sleep sitting down.
Opinions are like
Here we go.
everyone's got one. Get yours on the Steve Kane Show.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Okay, so Marco Rubio, who we very desperately need to win re-election. Would this be his 3rd term in the Senate? I think it might be. If he wins this one, we need him. He is running against a very dangerous and bad person, Val Demings. She's trying to pass herself off as a Republican. You've heard me mention her a couple times on the show. I mentioned her yesterday and one day last week. Every time I turn on the cable news and they go to break, it's a Val Demings commercial. And she's a former cop. She's police chief up in Orlando. And I believe in her commercials, she's trying to make people think she's a Republican. The background colors are red and everything else. And she's a very dangerous person. Bruce, $50 super chat. Thank you. Please thank Bruce, everyone. And I want to share this with you because what happened with Marco was very, very scary to me yesterday. Now, before I play the ad, this is from NBC News. Val Demings has booked over $1 million in ad time for her campaign ads. Rubio's campaign has only booked $465,000 worth of ads, so less than half. And by the way, Marco Rubio should be running spots on this radio station and this program. We need Marco Rubio bad. You know, forget about the 2015 primaries. He's on board with Trump now. We need every Republican we can get in there for Trump's return in 2024. So listen to this. Val Demings has spent $11 million on ads so far. Rubio has only spent $835,000 on ads so far. Oh my goodness. That's why I'm seeing her spot all the time. She spent $11 million. They're making a move for Ron DeSantis' free Florida. And Republicans sometimes get tricked by black people that are conservative. There's a lot of, and of course when you go to vote, it's going to say Val Demings, Democrat. I get it. But her TV ads, it's a visual. I can't share it on the radio. Some of it's audio, but the visual, she's trying to make herself look like a Republican. And a lot of times, a lot of conservative people will see someone who is a minority, in particular someone who's black, saying things that they think are conservative, and they get all excited. Do not let yourself be tricked by Val Demings. She's a very bad person. And I'm going to share some of the reasoning in just a bit. So I can't remember if it was Fox or Newsmax. Marco Rubio has a new ad out on television. I'm going to play you the ad now. Everyone you hear speak is a Florida sheriff. And this is a significantly important ad because Val Demings, her whole thing is that she was the police chief of Orlando. Now, I got news for you. Orlando was a sanctuary city while she was police chief, and it's a bad place. Okay? The city of Orlando is not a good place, all right? It's like LA or something up there. It's really liberal. It's a great conservative state we have. But Orlando is like one of those Democrat liberal utopias filled with illegals and crime and all kinds of other stuff. So anyway, this is Marco Rubio's ad that he just debuted yesterday. Everyone you hear is a Florida sheriff.
I'm Marco Rubio, and I approve of this message. Val Demings turned her back on law enforcement. Demings votes with Pelosi 100% of the time. 100%. She called abolishing the police thoughtful. Demings said violent riots were a beautiful sight. Instead of voting to condemn radicals who want to abolish police, Demings refused. That's not just wrong, it's dangerous. Maybe she used to be a cop, but in Washington, Val Demings is just another radical rubber stamp.
Okay, so I saw that ad on television. That's a very good ad, and I'm glad that the Florida sheriffs are behind Marco Rubio. I am behind Marco Rubio. I will be voting for Marco Rubio. I'm asking you to vote for Marco Rubio. Okay? And I know there's a lot of MAGA bad blood with Marco Rubio because of 2015. Trump is behind Marco Rubio now. Okay? So forget about that. We got to move on from that. Okay? I was upset at Marco back then too. Please, don't misunderstand me. But now this is very important. Val Demings gets in that Senate seat. She'll be there forever, and she's a disaster. Disaster. So anyway, I saw that ad on television yesterday, and I immediately went online to get the ad so that I could share it with you. And it said in the ad, I saw it on TV, and it said, paid for by Marco Rubio for Senate. I picked up my iPhone and Googled Marco Rubio for Senate. You know what came up? Val Demings links. Marco Rubio, his link, when I did the search yesterday, was so low, it almost was not on the front page. It was like halfway down the first page of the Google. I put in Marco Rubio for Senate ad because it's the first ad I knew would come up, and everything was Val Demings. He was about halfway, maybe even a little more than halfway down the page. She has top people running her campaign that are doing a propaganda campaign, like AOC did when she ran for the House in New York. Like I said, her TV ad, they make her look like a Republican. She is a hardcore radical BLMer let me go through this. Now, what I'm going to share with you now is on her Wikipedia page, so you guys can check all this out on your own, okay? Val Demings received a 100% voting score from the National Pro-Choice America PAC. So the abortionists give her a 100% voting score when it comes to abortion. She received a 100% rating from Planned Parenthood. Imagine? Can you imagine? She supports eliminating the filibuster, which is a little more intellectual, but that's not good. She's also in favor of gun control. She is in favor of Obamacare, which is socialized medicine in America. And of course, she was part of the impeachment team that Pelosi put together, impeaching our great president. She's received a 97% rating from the green people with the climate change. So and she's a BLM apologist. So she's bad news. Marco Rubio needs you, and he needs some people on his campaign that are going to have him coming up at the top of the Google search results. And she spent $11 million, and he spent less than $1 million so far. He needs to start getting ads on TV and on radio constantly. And what I'm afraid of is that because we've got the great governor here, Ron DeSantis, you can't take any of these things for granted. And if the Republicans are assuming Marco's going to win because he's going to be on the ballot with Ron DeSantis, do not assume that. We need Marco Rubio. We need him bad. If Val Demings becomes our senator, we're done. Because you know what'll be next? She'll be the governor one day. Can you imagine having a BLM supporter as governor? It could happen. And I'm not getting overly excited. This is serious business here that's going on. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
And there we go again. Google trying to rig the...
No, it's not that. No, it is because Val Demings is spending tons of money at doing advertising on radio, TV, and on Google. And her results that came up are paid. It tells you they're paid, sponsored. So no, this is not Google. It's not Google. It's Val Demings. Her people are taking this serious. The Democrats think they can get her elected and have top-tier campaign people and marketing people working on her campaign, and Marco Rubio has people that are, still they're still getting the mail order Netflix. It's not Google. People giving out, they're taking the campaign for granted. And we need. By the way, I'm looking at the clock, Doug. I'm sorry, we're almost out of time, and you're a little too low energy for me anyway this morning. But they're taking it for granted that Marco Rubio is going to walk into re-election because this is a Republican state, and we've got our great governor who's going to be on the ballot. Do not do that. We just unseated a lifetime Democrat with Rick Scott. We'll take our break and be back after this. We just unseated a lifetime Democrat with Rick Scott. We'll take our break and be back after this.
Wake up and smell the truth. The Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Morning 6 to 9 on Oldies 95.3 and 96.9.
The Steve Kane 2023 MAGA Cruise is a go, and you are all invited.
Everybody but you, liberal John. No invite for you.
Everyone with Liberal Al is invited. Join us for 7 nights on the Celebrity Apex. Fort Lauderdale, with ports of call and Tortola in the British Virgin Islands, St. Kitts, and San Juan, Puerto Rico. We'll have dinner together every night, onboard activities, shore excursions.
You don't think Barry will call back at 7:44?
No, he doesn't call. What's today? Today's Wednesday. Yeah. Were they okay? I know that was a little disaster there. What'd they say? What'd they do?
Well, I tried to stop it and go to you.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did.
Too late.
Until I went to
Not the end of the world.
I know, but we'll hear about it. Pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching have all but disappeared. Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-66.
By the way, Bruce, again, thank you for that $50 super chat. I hope everyone thanked Bruce. Good morning, Brian, Steve, everyone on the greatest MAGA radio show in the business. No doubt, Bruce. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And up to 35% on your electric bill. That's 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500.
It's hurricane season, and if you have a wet spot on your ceiling, you have a leak in your roof. When we had a leak in our roof at the Kane household, we called Tom Laporta.
We'll be back in just about a minute and a half.
Small leaks turn into medium leaks, and medium leaks turn into big problems. Call licensed contractor Tom Laporta for a free roof inspection. 954-604-4602. And tell him Steve Kane sent you.
You've seen the ads on TV, and you've heard your friends tell you about MyPillow. MyPillow is guaranteed the most comfortable pillow you will ever own. Right now at MyPillow.com, when you use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout, buy one MyPillow, get one for free. But you have to use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com for this incredible offer. Buy one MyPillow, get another one free. Go to MyPillow.com right now. Use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E.
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Wings just the way you like them. Plump, tender, and delicious. Crispy on the outside, succulent on the inside. Everything homemade. Nothing comes out of a can. Dozens of specialty sauces that will make your mouth water. Wings Plus, located
Steve Kane Show. No.
on the south side of Sample Road.
Ready to get fired up? Just 60 seconds and you'll be racing for the phone. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, welcome back, everyone. It is the Steve Kane Radio Show. My name is Brian Craig. This is the longest-running radio show in the state of Florida, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. And I want people to understand, okay, this, because I was a little disturbed by Doug's call, not just because he was low energy, putting me to sleep there, but he's not taking responsibility. Listen, we're conservatives. We're not whiners. We see a problem, like it's with President Trump, and we fix it. And if anyone in this listening audience has the ear of Marco Rubio, please share with them that last segment of this program. We need Marco Rubio in that Senate like nobody's business, okay? And you can very, very easily end up in this state with a Republican governor and a Democrat senator. It has happened many times. This is the first time we've had 2 Republican senators in a long time. Okay? And we want to keep it that way. And we've had Republican governors since Jebb's first election in '98. So it could happen. All right, let's go to the phones before we bring up some new topics. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's Andrea from Pennsylvania.
Andrea in Pennsylvania, Dr. Oz country.
Mm-hmm.
You got to vote for Dr. Oz. You can't vote for that. What's that communist name with the hoodie? What's his name again? The lieutenant governor? Fetterman. You're going to let Fetterman go? You're going to vote for Dr. Oz, right?
Sure.
Okay, all right.
But I just wanted to kind of give some validation to what Dutch said, and this was
Ugh.
right.
Mm.
A couple of months ago, he did a podcast about how Gmail was
No, it's not open phones today, Andre. I got a lot of stuff on the table, and I got a lot of other stuff to talk about. So I'm not really interested in talking about Gmail. This thing that I'm talking about, when I saw the ad that Marco had on TV, I wanted to pull the audio to play on the radio this morning. I typed in Marco Rubio for Senate 2022 ad. Every link came up Val Demings, and they tell you they were paid. So her people are paying. And then I looked at this article I read from NBC News this morning. She has spent over $11 million on radio, television, and online ads, and Marco Rubio has spent less than $1 million. So she is everywhere. This isn't something that Google is doing. This is something that the Republicans are doing, taking something for granted.
Marco Rubio be getting backed by the GOP?
He is, but they listen. Yes, but they're making some mistakes. Okay, here's the mistakes they're making. Ron DeSantis is on the ballot, so they're making an assumption that because we have the greatest governor ever, not just of Florida, of any state throughout the history of this great nation, that because he's going to be at the top of the ticket, Ron DeSantis. And they call that you hear these Politico people talk about down the ballot. Marco Rubio will be down the ballot, and they figure it's going to be a Republican ticket. Do not assume that. Don't assume that. And this Val Demings BLM supporter trying to pass herself off as a Republican, I can't turn on Fox News without seeing her. And her ads are lies. Lies. Like she supported the summer of BLM rage, right? And all of that. And she's in her ads talking about defunding the police. That's just stupid. She's lying, okay? And she's and she's got a 100% rating from Planned Parenthood and all this stuff. She could win if the Republicans assume that Marco Rubio is safe. And the way they're running the campaign is they're assuming he's safe. And you can't do that.
Can't, especially not in this.
And because you're a recovered liberal, you're still in recovery. Okay, you've not been a conservative, and when someone is recovering from drug or alcohol addiction, every once in a while they slip and have a little nip at the bar, right? And sometimes with recovered liberals like yourself who are not fully through your recovery, you think like a liberal. And liberals whine and say, oh, Google and this and victims, we're victims. No, this is something that can be fixed. All right, hey, listen, thanks for the call. Okay, now, do you know what I'm doing when I get off the air today? You don't know what I'm doing, but I thought I'd ask. What do you think I'm doing? I'm doing a lot of things, but you know what I'm doing today? Before I go home today, I have to stop off at Walmart. That's right, and pick up baby formula. Now, I don't have a baby. My baby's 23 years old now, my daughter. She's 23 years old. But my wife bought it online for pickup, baby formula, for our friends in Utah. They have a baby, and they're out of baby formula in Utah. So we bought some baby formula online. I'm going to pick it up at Walmart, and we're going to mail it. And the baby formula shortage has disappeared from the news, but it is still a problem. Let me read this to you from Hot Air. Whatever happened to that baby formula shortage that was dominating the headlines last month? I can barely recall the last time I saw a story about it on cable. After Abbott reopened their plant in Michigan at the same time that Biden was flying in plane loads from Europe, it seems as if everyone felt like the baby formula crisis had passed. But as the New York Post reports this week, that's not the case at all. About 30% of baby formula products are still out of stock at stores around the country. That's crazy, about 30%. And now they're starting to run low on the powder formula. So where's Mayor Pete? Where's Mayor Pete? I see him on TV talking about EVs and racist bridges. I see that his husband is always on the Twitter taking issue with this or that. The baby formula crisis is still a crisis. And, you know, the liquid baby formula is still very low. Now the shortages are hitting powder formula. And these numbers we're getting, I believe, are very conservative. I did a YouTube video when this crisis first started. The shelves were empty. And anytime I go to the stores now, I look. Liquid baby formula is still very short in supplies. They're fronting up the shelves with powder. And as we were talking about back then, not all babies can have powder. My daughter could not have powdered formula. She had to have liquid. And we have friends and others who, I'm going to Walmart today to pick up the baby formula that's waiting for me and mailing it to Utah today. And that's not, it's not going to be cheap to mail it to Utah because it's liquid baby formula. It's heavy. Hopefully it's in plastic, not metal cans. Where's Mayor Pete? Out there pushing Teslas all the time that people can't afford right now. Neil Armstrong of the gays, that it's like a big deal. You're not the first gay cabinet member. Janet Reno was, okay? This guy, so full of himself. Who is this woman? I forgot her name. Liz something? That's all over television. She's on Fox. She's on MSNBC. That worked for her campaign. You know, the one that was involved with Spitzer. You know, Buttigieg. They think he's viable to run for president. They're thinking about this is what their pick is, right? It's a mix between we don't know who's going to be on the top or the bottom of the ticket. Although I learned the other day that Buttigieg's husband took his name. That means he's the husband. But and the other one's the wife. But they've got three people: Kamala, Newsom, and Mayor Pete Buttigieg. And I'm watching MSNBC. They think Buttigieg is Bobby Kennedy. He even dresses like Bobby Kennedy. You know, the same thing Beto does. Oh boy, I'm late. We'll be back. I missed the break. Same thing Beto does. Oh boy, I'm late. We'll be back. I missed that one, Rich. We're all screwed up today. That one was my fault. I don't know, my wife's getting the formula. I'm just picking it up. I don't know what kind of formula it is. Part of the problem is, too, people don't like that their baby is on a brand and they don't like to change brands. The baby doesn't eat the other brand. It's a mess. Oh boy. I'll be right back, guys. I gotta go talk to the board op.
Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Wings just the way you like them.
I don't have time.
Tender and delicious, crispy on the outside.
I don't have time to talk to him next break. I'm not sure how much time we have now.
West of University on the south side of Sample Road.
Hey, I got a question for you. You hate bending over to put on your shoes? Wish you could just put them on standing or sitting without ever having to touch them? If so, then I have the shoe for you. Introducing new hands-free Skechers Slip-ins. With new Skechers Slip-ins, you just step in and off you go. You don't even need to lace up. So how does Skechers Slip-ins work? Well, there's a special smooth comfort feel over the heel that helps your foot slide right into place. So just step in them and go. Find new hands-free Skechers Slip-ins for the whole family at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
The Steve Kane 2023 MAGA Cruise is a go, and you are all invited.
Everybody but you, Liberal Al John. No invite for you.
Everyone with Liberal Al is invited. Join us for 7 nights on the Celebrity Apex out of Fort Lauderdale, with ports of call and Tortola in the British Virgin Islands, St. Kitts, and San Juan, Puerto Rico. We'll have dinner together every night, onboard activities, shore excursions, and drinks are included. To join Steve Kane and me, Brian Craig, call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot, 561-244-5779, 561-244-5779. No liberal stowaways allowed.
Live, local, and in your face. The Steve Kane Show with Brian.
All right, we are back. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Okay. Don't fall for these Democrat traps. There's a big one they're throwing out there now. And I see some of our MAGA brothers and sisters getting jazzed up and starting to fall for the trap. Okay, so in Congress, they got this new word that is being used more than any other word in the English language right now, codify. They want to codify everything now in Congress. Have you ever heard anyone use the word codify? It means make it part of code, pass it, make it a law, make it legislation. And it's like the most commonly used word. I'm hearing it by all the pundits. The pundits, they get in the media, they go through these words that they like to use. The notion was one they used to use all the time. Remember the red meat in the speech? You guys get the drift. Now they want to codify everything. Okay, so there's legislation to codify same-sex marriage. Same-sex marriage is done. It's done, okay? The reason that the Democrats are doing that is they're desperate. Remember I was talking yesterday about Leah Thomas? They're desperate. So what they're trying to do is get conservatives to start arguing against gay marriage. It was bait that they threw out there. Don't take the bait. Don't be talking about it's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve and all that stuff. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to take you back to the 80s and 90s and get you talking like Pat Robertson on the 700 Club. It's just a desperate, because they figure, remember what Obama said? Clutch at your Bibles and your guns. Very bigoted of you, Barry Soetoro. They think that we're a bunch of religious lunatics, and they throw that out there, and we're going to be talking about all that stuff. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Now, they're having these endless hearings on abortion that are going nowhere, and they're bringing up these abortion supporters to testify in front of Congress. And it's over. President Trump overturned Roe v. Wade. It's done. It's left up to the states. That's the way it is. But they're having these hearings, and I pulled up one clip of one of these ladies talking. I use ladies very loosely. I don't mean to be gender specific, but I don't know what her preferred pronouns are. I've got some, but I can't use them on the radio. So this is this abortion supporter testifying in front of Congress yesterday, saying some of the most racist things I've ever heard someone say, on color television. Listen.
And once these children are born, immigrant children are caged apart from their families. Trans children are turned into political fodder. Young students are murdered in their schools. And Black and brown parents live in anxiety about the day their children encounter the police. These issues are not separate from abortion. They are the realities we consider when weighing whether we want to bring another life into this country.
Okay, so what this lunatic abortion woman said was that trans children, immigrant children, black children, and brown, which I guess mean Hispanic, that a pregnant person, as they call it now, a birthing parent, well, a pre-birthing parent, that a woman, when she's pregnant, has to decide if she's pregnant with a trans, black, brown, or an immigrant child, whether she wants to have an abortion or bring this child out of the womb into this racist, transphobic, bigoted country known as America. That's what she just said. That part of the decision is America too racist, too transphobic to bring a child into the world, and if you think it's not, you should have an abortion. That is sick. That's a sick woman. And she said it in front of the Congress yesterday. Now, she's not the only sick woman. The Coven of the View. These are buttes. Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar and the crew were there. The Coven. And I've always thought that Whoopi Goldberg, I used to be a fan of Whoopi Goldberg. She was on Star Trek The Next Generation and Ghost and all that stuff. But she's gotten so political. She's just, ugh. I can't enjoy anything she's in anymore. She's a very good actress. You ever see her in The Color Purple? She's a great actress, Whoopi Goldberg. She really is. But she's so left-wing in her politics, she takes you out of the escapism from these things. I can't watch her anymore in anything she's been in. She even screws up Star Trek for me. But anyway, Whoopi Goldberg, who I always thought sounds like Nipsey Russell from the Gong Show days. Guys, remember? The Coven of the View yesterday, they're attacking the hero of the mall, the Good Samaritan, who we now learn took down the shooter in about 15 seconds. This guy was quick on the draw. And they're attacking the Good Samaritan. Is his name Dickens, that saved everyone at the mall. And they're calling him a criminal. Listen to this. This is the View yesterday.
They say that a good guy with a gun can control a bad guy with a gun. Well, we saw in Uvalde that that's not true.
And you saw it in Buffalo.
Yes, we saw it in Buffalo.
But we saw that it is true in Indiana.
It was true in Indiana. That was a lucky moment. And you know what? I feel like this. If you're a good guy with a gun, you should not object to background checks or licensing or a limitation on military-style weapons that kill thousands at once or hundreds at once. So why can't they just pull that off?
But with this Good Samaritan thing, listen, I was trained when I was at the Justice Department in firearms, and I was trained in defensive firearm training. It is very hard to hit a moving target. It is hard for people that are trained to hit a moving target. It is very lucky that Good Samaritan hit that moving target in that way, and he was
lucky. He took him down in 15 to 20 seconds, but it was a lucky shot.
And he wasn't. He had a gun permit, but he wasn't supposed to be in the mall with a gun. So he broke the law, even though he was
the law of Indiana is different than the law of the mall of Simon Malls, and I would say that takes precedence when you save a life.
Well, he saved a life, but
guys, I gotta go.
He saved a life, but he saved a life, but. So in Indiana, you can carry a gun, but the mall owner, which is Simon Malls, they said, which owns like all the malls here, says no guns inside. I don't know if he broke the... If you disobey the mall, are you breaking the law or just the mall order? I don't know. This guy saved we don't know how many lives at the mall, and they're calling him a criminal? They're upset. Can you hear how upset they are that a good guy with a gun stopped a mass shooting event? So far as licensing, he's got a concealed weapons permit, so there's a record. There's a background check when you buy a gun in this country. Okay? There's federal background checks. When you do a federal background check, the federal government has a record of the gun purchase. So there is a gun registry. It's not called that. We don't like to think about it. But there is a gun registry just through that background check. They say they don't keep the records. Yeah, right. Yeah, they don't keep the records. Give me a break. They got them all. They know. But you can hear in their voice, they're so upset that this guy saved lives. And she said, well, Uvalde shows that a good guy with a gun doesn't. Those were not good guys in Uvalde. Almost 400 cowards who should all be fired and lose any benefits and pensions they have coming to them as law enforcement. 400 cowards in Uvalde. Those were not good guys with guns, View, ladies, Coven. Those are bad guys with guns in Uvalde. Oh, my goodness. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hey, Rick. We're up against a break, so cut to it quick.
Okay, I was just gonna mention that even though you have signs saying not to bring your gun into a mall, constitutionally, I guess the guy was in the clear, and that if they'd seen him with his gun, then they could ask him not to come back and things like that. It's kind of like a case of trespassing.
Yeah. Yeah, but you hear the View? They're calling him a criminal. They're calling him the man who stopped a mass shooting event in the mall food court. He's the bad guy. But this coven of witches on the View, they're upset that he saved lives. Thanks for the intel. Take care. Callers on hold. Stand by. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. My name is Brian Craig. Our number 888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. Callers on hold, stand by. We will go right back to our phones after this quick break. Back after this.
They're the most polarizing talk show hosts in all of South Florida. The Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Mornings 6 to 9 on Oldies 95.3 and 96.9.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did, until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching have all but disappeared. Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center.
Steve Kane Show.
Consultation. 754.
Hold on. Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
If you are a man over 40, listen up, because this could impact how much you're getting done during the day and at night. The harsh reality is, once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. Here's the good news. Nugenix, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC, has changed the game again for men over 40 with Nugenix Total T, their most powerful man-boosting formula ever, and guys all over America are raving about it. Jeremy P says, this is the best product I've found to raise T levels. I plan on using the product for the rest of my life. And how about Shane D? He says, I had no drive and was tanked out at the end of the day. After 3 months, my energy level is through the roof. I work out like most 19-year-olds. I am 47. Guys over 40, you need Nugenix Total T. And right now, you can get a complimentary bottle. Just text BACK to 42424. It's the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. But you can only get your complimentary bottle by texting BACK to 42424. That's BACK to 42424. Text BACK to 42424.
This is Steve Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Wings just the way you like them. Plump, tender, and delicious, crispy on the outside, succulent on the inside, everything homemade, nothing comes out of a can. Dozens of specialty sauces that will make your mouth water. Wings Plus, located in Coral Springs, a mile west of University on the south side of Sample Road.
So in life, throws you uh-ohs. Just say, better get Mako.
Go to Mako.com for an online estimate today.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed. Oh, yeah? Yeah, he's starting with the whoops. Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Our dogs and cats want 4 things: food, water, our love, and a My Pillow pet bed. And let's face it, when they get older, they really need that comfort. Available in 3 sizes and in many different colors. And your furry family member will sleep as well as you do, because the My Pillow pet bed has that same patented fill inside as the pillows. Order your My Pillow pet bed for 50% off with the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout, or call 1-800-716-4879.
Smarter than 9,000 milligrams of B6. Get smarter with the Steve Kane Show. Mornings 6 to 9 a.m.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show. You know, some people are asking me during the break, why do you watch The View? I do not watch The View. Do you think I watch The View? Are you kidding? If something happens on The View, I'll find out about it on Truth Social, Twitter, or something, and then I'll go and grab the audio. You think I sit and listen to this coven sit around? Are you kidding me? You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Lynn in Alabama.
Hey, Lynn, what's up?
Well, I decided to check out what my record high temperature was in Alabama, and they said 112.
Oh, my.
The year was 1925. I wonder if other people might check and see what their record high temperatures were in their state.
Well, whatever they are, the record. First off, do you trust the media when they say record high temperature in the history of temperature? I don't buy any of that crap.
Well, I don't know anymore who to believe on this stuff. I checked with Alexa, but I had seen it written before too, and
No, Alexa's liberal. Alexa's a liberal. Don't trust Alexa. Alexa's a liberal.
Well, still, but if it was 1925, I mean, and our high was 112 then.
Yeah, 1925. The United. You're in Alabama. My goodness, most of Alabama did not even have electricity in their homes in 1925.
Well, I wonder how they measured it, but it was just an interesting point I found, and I don't know whether we can actually learn what the record high temperatures were, like in the where that fire was.
Okay, I was talking about this at the top of the show. You're talking about that house fire in London, England? Yeah. Okay. How about they tell us what started the damn fire? Okay, what they're trying. This is what they're trying to do. Okay, I saw this. I saw it on Fox. And I thought, well, Fox is connected to Sky News over there. And I saw the same fire on CNN this morning. And they're using this house fire outside of London to tell us that, Biden's got to do this thing, sign this executive order on the climate crisis. What are they suggesting? That it is so hot in England that this house just spontaneously combusted into flames? I am in South Florida. The heat index will be over 100 degrees on any day of the week, right? Because it's the hot time of the year. Next month is the hottest month, but this month is pretty darn hot. I've lived in Florida almost my entire life. I have never seen, during the hottest summer days, anything spontaneously combust into flames. Well, because it's BS. There is, this fire in England. I'm assuming they have fire inspectors in England. Something else happened there. Okay, it did not spontaneously burst into flames because of the heat.
Yeah, I get up angry every day because of the lies people are telling and manipulating. I don't know.
We're not being manipulated. They're lying. Hey, listen, they're lying, but we're combating the lies. You know, if anyone out there can tell me that they have seen a spontaneous combustion from the heat of about 100 degrees temperature, I'd love to hear from you. That is such nonsense.
That's all I had.
Okay.
Go. If there's something I can do.
Marco Rubio? Yeah, I brought that up about Marco Rubio because I know, our radio stations are within the range of Marco Rubio and his people. I know there are people that listen to this program that have Marco Rubio's ear, and that's why I brought that up today, because we need this guy. If we get this BLM supporter in the Senate, she's going to be there forever. She was, this Val Demings, she was also on Biden's shortlist for VP before Kamala.
Know that.
Yeah, she's bad. She's bad. Well, they think they're thinking about her running for governor of Florida or maybe even president or vice president. No, Val Demings, I'm telling you. All right, take care. Oh, man. All right, our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. Oh, yeah, this is just, I tell you, the things, did you see this Merriam-Webster story? Merriam-Webster, they've updated their dictionary, and they have changed the definition of female. Now, my definition of female, if I were writing the definitions, it wouldn't be that sophisticated. My definition for female, if I were writing the dictionary definitions, a person with a vagina, right? Next to it'd be female dash a person born with a vagina. I gotta add born. You never know, right? You gotta add born. Okay, female dash a person born with a vagina. There you go. That's my definition. What's yours? Listen to this. The dictionary definition of female has been changed by Merriam-Webster to appease trans activists. Once, female was defined as adult human female. The term now has a lengthy definition, including having a gender identity that is the opposite of male. Gender identity, or that vibe or internal feeling of being a woman, has now, and the new definition has been included. So if you feel like a woman, like Shania Twain, you're a woman. If you just feel like a woman. That's the new definition. Here we go. Definition of female. There are 2 entries. This is a screenshot from Merriam-Webster. First definition of female: of, relating to, or being the sex that typically has the capacity to bear young or produce eggs. Then they give you an example of the word being used. In a field of milkweed, I watched a female monarch butterfly deposit a single egg on the underside of a leaf. A few months later, she became the highest paid female performer on the Great White Way. That's another example. Here's the second definition, and there's a third definition. The second definition of female involves botany, having or producing only pistils, okay, or pistillate flowers. Here's the final definition of female: having a gender identity that is the opposite of male. So if you identify, if you say you're a woman, you're a woman. Oh my goodness. You know, this may be hard for some of you to believe, but when I was in school, I was a bit of a smart aleck, smarty pants. I know, it's hard to believe, isn't it? I know. How could you end up with a job like this, being mouthy when you're in school? I want you guys to think about this, though. You guys out there. If you just identifying as a female makes you a female, how many of you in school would have gone to school and say, I identify as a female, so in PE you could use the girls' locker room or go into the girls' bathroom? How many of you would be doing that? Of course you would. I'm sure that's what goes on with these young guys today. And they're so woke that they cannot even stop you now. If you just say, I just realized today, I did not know until just now that I'm a girl. I identify as a girl. I've just come to terms with my truth. They got to let you in to the girls' locker room. That's how this woke stuff is working. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine what's going on in our military right now? Our number is toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GIL-KANE 1-888-465-2631. Those of you that are new to the program, if you have not noticed, we lean towards Trump on this program. You will never hear me disagree with President Trump, ever. And, a lot of people tell me, you can't do that, Brian. If you never will disagree with President Trump, you have no credibility. And there are some radio hosts who are very pro-Trump, and then every once in a while, Mike Savage used to do this when he was on the radio, he would do a whole show attacking Trump, so he would show he was independent. I'll never criticize or disagree with President Trump. And it's not that he's out there doing things that I disagree with that I'm keeping from you. He's not. I mean, I just agree with everything President Trump ever does and ever says, and we need him. And he certainly doesn't need any criticism from us. There's a fake news story out there right now about President Trump. Fake news story. That he's behind on fundraising compared to other candidates. Well, yeah, he doesn't have a campaign yet. He's not fundraising. And I love how these people in the media, this was on Fox, by the way, Donald Trump is behind other candidates on fundraising. He has not announced yet, which means he's not fundraising and he doesn't have a campaign. These other people all got campaigns going on. As soon as he announces, he'll be number one. These people, they just don't get it. They don't get it. And you know what? No one should be criticizing President Trump. I was talking yesterday about Dr. Oz, who sadly we've got to support, who says the MAGA movement's dying. I don't think so. Today is Ivana's funeral, and last week's Trump rally was rescheduled in Arizona with Kari Lake because of the passing of the great Ivana Trump. And that rally is going to take place Friday with President Trump in Arizona with the great Kari Lake, who is just a great, great candidate. She's spectacular. My wife was text messaging with Kari Lake the other day. That's right, and Kari Lake was writing her back and everything else. Kari Lake and this rally is going to be a humongous rally, just like every other rally. I always say, President Trump's crowds are only limited by the fire codes. So anyone who says, people want to move on from Trump, the other people are more popular, who else is putting out rallies with no notice and having them filled up with tens of thousands of people outside they cannot even get in? No one in history has done this. Don't believe it. Don't buy any of it. All right, we've got 1 hour to go. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number toll free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Back after this. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Back after this.
The new old
Radio Show. See, this is the radio. I'm still talking on the air.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you're off to an awesome start. Our daytime high today, again, is going to be in the low 90s. We're going to be hot and humid with a good amount of Sahara dust around. I'm WTVF 25 First Morning Meteorologist Sam Shaw.
Follow Oldies 95.3 and 96.9 on social media. See what's happening in the community. Have a laugh with some
Make sure you guys like the video. If you're new, please subscribe.
Facebook and Instagram at Oldies South Florida. True Oldies. Traffic check.
Police activity lingers in West Palm right now along the I-95 southbound ramp from Forest Hill Boulevard. The on-ramp left lane is blocked, so be sure to use caution and watch your speed on the approach there. We're starting to see some minor traffic on the expressways now. 95 southbound is a little bit slow between Lantana Road and Atlantic Avenue. We're also seeing some eastbound traffic on Atlantic Avenue towards Jog Road. Southern Boulevard and Okeechobee, some more traffic eastbound coming out of the Acreage. This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. Getting stuck in traffic is part of owning a car. Getting stuck because you don't have the right parts doesn't have to be. That's because eBay Motors has all the right parts at the right price. There's 122 million of them. So keep moving in style at ebay.com.
Their 3 children are expected to speak, and that former President Trump and his current wife Melania will also attend. New York medical examiner says the 73-year-old's death was a result of a fall. The Secret Service says it cannot recover messages from the day of the insurrection. ABC's Andy Field in Washington.
The Secret Service saying it's doing all it can to recover those deleted January 6 related Asian text messages, but says it's not likely they can. That despite Homeland Security telling the agency to retain those texts during an internal investigation. The Secret Service says they were erased when they moved phones over to a new system. The House Committee wants to know what agents were doing and saying.
100 million Americans are under alert for heat. President Biden will announce executive action on climate change today. Scientists say that's what's driving the heat wave. This is ABC News. The roar of our engines.
We're coming back here. I'm just resting my legs for a minute.
Just call in 888-COCAINE-1. Hello. You'll thank us later. The Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Man, we have great rejoins and opens on this show, don't they? They're all new for, our radio station's format change. We're in the second week of the addition of our new stations through Palm Beach and the Treasure Coast, and those new opens and rejoins are just spectacular. I really love them a lot. All right, welcome back. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Mike Pence is one of those snakes that Trump's always reading about in the poem at the rallies. And I want to bring this up because of Arizona's Friday. Mike Pence has injected himself into this, and he's running a scam. And I'll tell you this about Mike Pence. I do not do this very often with people. But Mike Pence, I never trusted Mike Pence. And the thing about Mike Pence, and I said this, when President Trump picked Mike Pence, I was saying on the air, I said, I don't know, I just don't trust Mike Pence. I don't know too much about him. I know he stood up against some of these radical gay activists. Remember, he at the end of his governorship is when Target was allowing men to use the ladies' room. That's true. And they still do, by the way. They also let men use the ladies' dressing room at Target. And my wife and I, we go to Target. And the reason that we go to Target is because, we don't shop at Walmart anymore. I mean, you can't because, they canceled out Michael and Dell, so we go to Target. But when we go to Target and my wife uses the ladies' room at Target, this is true, and this has happened on more than one occasion. Do you know what I do when my wife is using the ladies' room at Target? You know what I do? I stand outside the door and make sure that no men go in. And I know that I'm not the only husband that does that. Do any of you guys do that when you go to Target with your wife? And Mike Pence stood up to that, and I like that. But when President Trump named him as his running mate, I said to him, I don't know about this guy. And what I didn't like about Mike Pence is I never felt that I knew what he was like. I always felt that he was fake. And it's hard to trust a guy when you don't know what their real personality is. I thought he was too polished. Well, now we know what Mike Pence is really like, don't we? Yeah, he's a snake. And I truly question his how religious he is because of his actions. He's a dishonest guy. And what he's doing in Arizona is not only dishonest, it's part of a scam that he's involved in, which I'll tell you about in a minute. Pence is involved in a major scam, the kind of scam that Joe Biden gets involved in. So this is out of the news in Arizona. Arizona's GOP gubernatorial race is shaping up to be another proxy battle between Donald Trump and Mike Pence. In one corner is Kari Lake, who was led in polling and, of course, has the endorsement of President Trump. In the opposite corner is businesswoman and lobbyist Karen Taylor Robson, who announced Monday that she had received the endorsement of Mike Pence. Who the hell wants that endorsement? Who wants the endorsement of Mike Pence? Who would want that? But she's bragging about it. As Arizona Democrats pursue the reckless Biden-Harris agenda, Karen Taylor Robson is the only candidate for governor that will keep Arizona's border secure and streets safe, empower parents, create great schools, and promote conservative values, Mike Pence said in a snake-like statement. So we've got the rally in Arizona with President Trump in the Great Kari Lake Friday, and Pence is out there. This is a primary going on, right? We're in a primary race in Arizona. Pence is out there backing the opponent to Kari Lake. He's also running for president. Here's what's going on. Mike Pence has a new job. Do you know what that job is? What's Mike Pence's job? Do you know what it is? This is true. This is his job. To screw Trump. That's it. That's his job for the rest of his life. And you may see, I know, it's a job. That's what Pence does now. And, Mike Pence, every once in a while, see, he's got a scam going. I'll tell you about the scam right now. Every once in a while, you'll see a story in the news. Mike Pence is speaking somewhere, right? You see he's on this paid speakership thing. Is there one person in this audience, for free, would go and listen to Mike Pence say one word? No. No. The never-Trumpers in the Republican Party have a racket going with Pence. They're paying him to undermine President Trump and his endorsements, like this thing, and divide the Republican Party, and try to get him to lose races. He's not going to lose. Kari Lake is huge out there, but this is what he's doing. So they can't go to Mike Pence and say, "Here, Mike Pence, here's however much money. Go to Arizona and undermine President Trump." So what they do is they book him for a speaking engagement and pay him. Does that scam sound familiar? Does that con, does that grift sound familiar? It should, because that's what the Clintons did. Remember when Bill Clinton, whose initials, by the way, are BJ, William Jefferson Clinton, BJ Clinton, those are his initials. When Bill Clinton left office, he was doing, and Hillary for a time too, before she was Secretary of State, and she left. Bill Clinton was doing these speeches all over the world, and he would get paid huge amounts of money, like over $200,000 for an hour-long speech, sometimes a 20-minute speech. And people would wonder about it. What is he saying that's worth $200,000? And then what did we find out? When Hillary sold our 20% of America's uranium deposits, which is what you need to fuel nuclear missiles, to Russia through that Canadian front company, the whole scam was revealed. They weren't paying Bill Clinton for these speaking engagements. These were the bribes for Hillary. He was like a money launderer. It was like what Hunter does, for Joe. Well, that's what Pence is doing. They pay him. They got two ways to pay Pence. One are these fake speaking engagements. No one wants to hear a damn thing that Pence has to say. It's not worth 10 cents. He couldn't even pay people that are real people to let him speak. Okay, so that's one way that they're paying Pence behind. It's all legal. Congress makes the laws, and they make the laws to benefit their scams, right? So it's I'm not saying it's illegal, but it's a racket, it's a grift. And here's the other thing, he's running for president. This guy, Mike Pence couldn't win the presidency of a homeowners association. He's hated. You guys know why. We used to support Mike Pence until he betrayed Trump and everything else, and what he's doing in Arizona, my goodness, this Judas, Mike Pence, I have known of people that do nothing but run for offices that they know they're not going to win. I have, over the years. There's big money in it. One of the scams that Biden has, do you know who runs his campaign? Who his campaign manager is and has been since he ran for the Senate back in 1873? You know who? His sister. Right, his sister. You think she's some campaign genius? It's a way for him to funnel millions of dollars to his family because she gets paid to work for the campaign. It's a scam. Mike Pence's presidential run is another way to pay him off to undermine Trump and MAGA. They can't just write him a check, but they can. He may have family members and friends working for the campaign, getting paid. Sometimes candidates even take a salary from the campaign. I've heard of that. And people run for offices they know they will never win all the time. It's a big money scam. That's right. Big money scam running for office. And that's why Pence is running for president. It's another way that the never-Trumpers and the Republican-hating uniparty establishment that work with Pelosi and these snake Democrats can keep him out there doing as much harm as he thinks he can do to Trump. So they got a fake presidential campaign, fake speaking engagements, and every once in a while he has to go to some place like Arizona and endorse someone that's running against Trump's endorsed candidate to try to cause chaos there. That's what this is all about. That's why I question how much of a Christian Mike Pence is, and I don't do that lightly. He behaves like a Joe Biden corrupt criminal. Okay, that's how he behaves. And that's what I see from him, from Mike Pence. All right, listen, we're coming up on our break. Oh, man, the show is flying by. Callers on hold, stand by. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Back after this.
The Steve Kane Show, telling it like it is, whether you like it or not. Oldies 95.3 and 96.9.
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Wings just the way you like them. Plump, tender, and delicious, crispy on the outside, succulent on the inside, everything homemade, nothing comes out of a can. Dozens of specialty sauces that will make your mouth water. Wings Plus, located in Coral Springs, a mile west of University on the south side of Sample Road.
A sniffle here and a sneeze there. Your first thought is what? Uh-oh, I'm coming down with something. But did you ever think you might not be sick? You might have an allergy. Find out and have your allergies tested at Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs or Any Lab Test Now of Boca. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located at 955 North University Drive on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Square Mall. Give them a call, 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto and north of Hillsboro. Call them at 561-237.
I got some other stuff I'm going to talk about. What do you guys think I should bring up that I have not brought up so far this morning? Anything in particular? I got so much. I don't trust anything Mike Pence says. He operates like a criminal. Target canceled Mike Lindell? I did not know that. Did they really? Holy crap.
20% off travel products when you purchase a passport photo. Get travel ready at Staples, your one-stop travel prep destination.
Daddy, let me tell you about another time that Staples saved my caboose. That all started back.
And 731 in-store only. Excludes Instacart orders, certain products, services, and technology. See staplesconnect.com/services/travel for details.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did, until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano.
No, something that's in the news, not a generic topic. Something that's in the news.
Weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching have all but disappeared. Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-6642.
Women, you know menopause is no fun, but there is help available for your menopause symptoms with Dr. Mitch Matez at the Biostation West Del Rey. Hormone replacement pellet therapy will 100% stop and reverse the signs and symptoms of menopause. Mood swings gone, night sweats gone, vaginal dryness reversed. You'll get your sex drive back too. Call Dr. Mitch Matez for a free consultation. 561-320-8893. 561-320-8893.
Grab your coffee and get ready to be triggered. The Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Welcome back, one and all. 1-888-GO-KANE-1. It is a toll-free call from anywhere. 888-465-2631. Alexa, play WWNN Radio. Alexa, volume 7. All right, there we go. Turned everyone's devices on. I got Steve. I don't want to say the name of the device again because I just turned everyone's on to me that has one near the radio. But I just got Steve one of those devices last week, and he listens to the show on it too, and they're pretty awesome, aren't they? Yes, they are. Oh, man, so you can listen to us on your device there. All right, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's the number. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning.
Rich from Jupiter.
Rich from Jupiter. Oh, yeah, Don Jr.'s neighborhood.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I'm 60 years old. I never voted in my life until Trump decided to run for president. Love your show. Me and my wife have talked. I believe Pence was the leak in the White House.
Yeah. Yeah, one of them. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, the stuff he's pulled is just amazing. And for him to discredit Trump, unbelievable. He's into a Hillary Clinton.
Well, you know, he's got this scam going on right now that I think is a pretty serious one I detailed in that last segment. But, you know, this is an interesting thing. You're 60 now, or you were 60 when you voted for Trump?
No, 60 now. 60.
Okay, so you spent almost your entire life not voting. What about President Trump got you to go out and vote?
Because he's a businessman, and this country needs to be run like a business. He's smart. He doesn't offend me. You know, if your feelings are hurt, turn the radio off or change the channel. He's a great man, the way I see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Losing money year after year.
That's right. You know, the first time I voted was when I was, first time I was old enough, I voted for Ross Perot. Okay? And remember that, yeah. And Ross Perot, that was when Bill Clinton, he's responsible for Bill Clinton's election. You know, Bill Clinton only got like 35% of the vote that year because Ross Perot split the conservative vote. But anyway, I voted for Ross Perot for two reasons and that he has in common with Trump. One was that during the Iran hostage crisis, they made a movie with, I think Richard Crenna played Ross Perot in it. I could be wrong about that, but they made a movie about this. When the Iranians took over our embassy in Tehran, they took some of Ross Perot's executives hostage, and Ross Perot, who was a billionaire at the time in Texas, hired an ex-Green Beret, personally paid to train a team of mercenaries who went to Iran and rescued his workers that the Iranians were holding. And I thought that was pretty cool. And the other reason I voted for him it was because he was a businessman. And what I heard my whole life is, you can't run the government like a business. Well, Trump did it, and I paid $1.59 for gas on Inauguration Day.
Way the Democrats, they're taking praise for themselves. But gas went down 15 cents, and I don't know who the reporter was saying, yeah, well, who's responsible for going up $2.50 a gallon? And boy, they got nothing.
Well, they got themselves in this ridiculous fix, right? Biden's not responsible for it going up, but somehow he's responsible for it going down $1.50. I mean, give me a break. Yeah.
I have some friends, I can't say they're close friends, but they voted Democrat.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I asked them, I go, do you understand what energy independence mean or meant? They have no clue.
Well, NBC News did something by mistake. Okay, NBC News, they were over there in Saudi Arabia with Biden, and NBC News went to a Saudi Arabian gas station, and they put something on television. I don't know if they did this on purpose, maybe or not. Do you know how much a gallon of gas cost in Saudi Arabia?
Probably 50 cents a gallon.
Well, it's a little higher. You blew my thunder there because it's a little higher than it's but close. 62 cents. It was 62 cents a gallon. 62 cents a gallon, and that's what we should be paying here. But we have more gas than Saudi Arabia. Exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, Jupiter. Yeah.
Executive order he's supposed to be signing today on emergency climate change or whatever name they gave it today.
Well, this is a pretty serious thing. Biden's signing this executive order on the fake climate crisis. I would imagine they'll model it after the COVID crisis. They may start to limit your travel, leaving your home, all kinds of things. You think I'm kidding?
Oh, no, I believe it. Stunts they pull it. And I'm worried about, they're giving all this open border, they're giving all these illegal cell phones. And these Democrats, boy, they love scams.
Well, you gotta check in with the sex trafficker once you get here. How else are you gonna check in with the sex trafficker? You're in Jupiter, and Jupiter is really an amazing place with that beautiful lighthouse. But there are 4 people that live in Jupiter that it's pretty interesting. Of course, Don Jr., and he lives next door. Who has the mansion next door to Don Jr. but Kim Guilfoyle? But you know who also live in Jupiter?
Tiger Woods.
No. Well, yeah. No. True. No. Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski from MSNBC live in Jupiter.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And Joe... Well, this is the thing about it, okay? Because, our new radio stations take us up through Jupiter and the Treasure Coast. That is the most MAGA part of America, is that Treasure Coast area, Jupiter and North. I went to the Trump boat parades there and everything else. It was amazing. And I know they're saying that Pelosi did not intend to move to Florida. She was, and to Jupiter. I think Joe and Mika Brzezinski talked her into it. But do you know why she was thinking of moving to Florida? Why do you think?
Turn into Democrat.
No. What do they have in California that we don't have in Florida that brings rich people here?
Sunshine tax?
We don't. Yeah, exactly. Pelosi and her drunk driving Wall Street scammer husband wanted to move to Florida so they don't have to pay state income tax when she retires. That's exactly right. And she. Exactly. We don't have state income tax, and she's for all those taxes, but and she was planning on moving to Jupiter, Florida, because her rich friends, Joe, Meek, and some others were telling her to, and then they came down here and found out that Jupiter is MAGA country. Okay, and that's why she changed her mind. I was hoping she'd move to Jupiter.
I don't want her anywhere near me.
Yeah, well, I don't.
I drive a tow truck and I see all the signs on the back of cars. Don't New York, my Florida.
That's right.
California, my Florida. I love those.
That's right. I have a hat. I usually wear my Make America Great Again hat, but a listener, Gary in Coral Springs, he gave me a Trump DeSantis 2024 hat. It says Trump DeSantis 2024 Make America Florida. Isn't that a good one? I like that.
DeSantis to be the VP. I want him to stay in Florida a little longer. And then...
No, you don't. No. He's good. We have 2 terms for our governor. He's going to leave 2 years later. Whoever is Trump's VP, walks into the nomination and becomes the second MAGA president in 28. And I want Ron DeSantis to be the second MAGA president in 2028, and that would be yeah.
The greatest governor ever.
Oh, could you imagine if that Andrew Gillum, who was found passed out in his vomit in the hotel room with the male hooker with the methamphetamines in Miami Beach, became our governor? We'd still be locked down. Hey, listen, welcome to the program from Jupiter, Florida. All right, take care. Yeah, Jupiter is, Don Jr. lives there. It's north of Mar-a-Lago. And, man, I went to one of the Trump flotilla boat parades there. I went to a couple of them, but I went to one. There were more boats in that boat parade in Jupiter than ships and boats that were used in Normandy. It was amazing. All right, listen, we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. Callers on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian Craig. Back after this break. Bottom of the hour. Callers on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian Craig. Back after this break.
Tired of boring mornings? We serve controversy with your morning coffee. The Steve Kane Show. Oldies 95.3 and 96.9.
No, that's not true, New Day. I'll explain that when we get back.
The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning at 10 a.m. Now, here's the True Oldies weather forecast.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you're off to an awesome start. Our daytime high today, again, is going to be in the low 90s. We're going to be hot and humid with a good amount of Saharan dust around. I'm doing TBS 25 first morning meteorologist Sam Shaw.
Follow Oldies 95.3 and 96.9 on social media. See what's happening in the community, have a laugh with some funny memes, and keep in touch with other good time Oldies lovers. Facebook and Instagram at Oldies South Florida.
Palm Beach is not a Republican county. That is true, but Palm Beach County is like bigger than the state of Rhode Island. I live in Palm Beach County. It's huge. And there are some heavy Democrat areas in it, but there's some heavy Republican areas too, including in the northern parts of the county along the Martin County line. Secret Service records. Okay, I'll see if I got time for that. I have a guest scheduled in the last segment that I did not get a confirmation from this morning, so I'm not 100% sure if they're going to be there or not until I call. I'm not going to tell you who. But it's a name you all know. Somebody you all are familiar with.
The Steve Kane 2023 MAGA Cruise is a go, and you are all invited.
Everybody but you, Liberal Al, John. No invite for you.
Everyone but Liberal Al is invited. Join us for 7 nights on the Celebrity Apex at a Fort Lauderdale with ports of call in Tortola in the British Virgin Islands, St. Kitts, and San Juan, Puerto Rico. We'll have dinner together every night, onboard activities, shore excursions, and drinks are included.
Steve Kane Show.
Join Steve Kane and me,
Hey, Rich.
Brian Craig. Call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot, 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. No liberal stowaways allowed. An honest auto mechanic, you probably don't think they exist, but one does. Eddie at Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca will never do a repair on your vehicle that your vehicle doesn't need. He works on all makes and models, new, old, classic cars, even hybrids. Champagne Automotive
Marco Rubio. I talked about Marco Rubio for like half an hour at 7.
561-245-8101.
See, yesterday, I was talking earlier, I have postnasal drip, and I was laying down, and I have to sleep a little elevated on my MyPillow, and I didn't, and it caused me to choke, and I was choking and coughed, and I scratched my throat. And when you talk for a living, and your throat has a scratch in it, it's not easy. I'm like that Olympic gymnast with the broken foot doing the balance beam. No, it's not Marco Rubio. If it was Marco Rubio, it would be confirmed. I don't want to tell you who, because if it falls through today, it's just a little confusion. They'll be back tomorrow or the next day. Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
Women, you know menopause is no fun, but there is help available for your menopause symptoms with Dr. Mitch Matez at the Bayou Station, West Del Rey. Hormone replacement pellet therapy will 100% stop and reverse the signs and symptoms of menopause. Mood swings gone, night sweats gone, vaginal dryness reversed. You'll get your sex drive back too. Call Dr. Mitch Matez for a free consultation. 561.
Yeah, so it's like right here. It hurts.
561-320-8893.
It's hurricane season, and if you have a wet spot on your ceiling, you have a leak in your roof. When we had a leak in our roof at the Kane household, we called Tom Laporta. He's the best in the business. Remember, small leaks turn into medium leaks, and medium leaks turn into big problems. Call licensed contractor Tom Laporta for a free roof inspection. 954-604-4602. And tell him Steve Kane sent you.
This is your captain speaking.
Okay, we got about a minute.
Seatbelts for this one. I noticed my passport was due to expire, so I went to Staples. I got a passport photo in 10 minutes, so we're good to go.
Now at Staples, get 20% off travel products when you purchase a passport photo. Get travel ready at Staples, your one-stop travel prep destination.
Hey, let me tell you about another time that Staples saved my caboose. That all started back.
M731, in-store only. Excludes Instacart orders, certain products, services, and technology. See staplesconnect.com/services/travel for details.
Hey, I got a question for you. You hate bending over to put on your shoes? Wish you could just put them on standing or sitting without ever having to touch them? If so, then I have the shoe for you. Introducing new hands-free Skechers slip-ins. With new Skechers slip-ins, you just step in and off you go. You don't even need to lace up. So how does Skechers slip-ins
Steve
work?
Kane Show.
Well, there's a special smooth comfort fill over the heel that helps your foot slide right into place.
Not yet. Hold on.
Find new hands-free Skechers slip-ins for the whole family at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Callers on hold, stand by. Someone during the break said you can't not have the president and the vice president from the same state. That is not true, okay? There's a bit of a conflict over the electoral college votes from that state. Bush and Cheney in 2000. Bush-Cheney. I hate to use Cheney as an example because he's got his, daughter doing all this stuff with the J6 Kangaroo Committee. But anyway, Bush and Cheney in 2000 both were Texans. Both had Texas addresses. Both were residents of Texas. Dick Cheney had like a hunting lodge up in Wyoming, so he went to Wyoming and got a driver's license, and that was it. So Trump can get a driver's license in New York or New Jersey or somewhere else that he has one of these very many beautiful resorts and hotels. And I don't know if the media would let it go as easily as they did with Bush and Cheney, but that's all you got to do. All right, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Sandra, and I'm calling from Delray Beach, Florida.
All right, Sandra in Delray.
Just a fact that I want to bring up. I'm an accountant, so not only do people come to Florida to get away from the income tax, which is minor compared to an estate tax. It's a different type of tax, and it's levied on the very rich, and it's a very high rate. So people come here, not only the income tax, but mostly the
Well, yeah. So the point I was making is Nancy Pelosi and her crooked insider trading husband, who likes to drink and drive, and get in car accidents while drinking and driving, were coming to Florida to avoid all the taxes that she has been advocating her entire life. There's no doubt in my mind. Okay, all right, I appreciate it. All right, CPA talk. All right, good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
To the climate denier.
Yes, I'm a non-birthing parent climate denier. Cisgender male.
You don't believe in the science that the proven science that the vaccines?
Well, when Biden signs his executive order on the climate crisis, and they call us science deniers, they've been telling us that when there's a heartbeat, it's not a life in the womb the last few weeks pretty regularly.
I mean, and you know, they tell you a lot of stuff. They tell you about the environment, the oceans, the oceans are warming and they're being polluted. Meanwhile, he's got an open border, and you should see, people don't realize, I've seen this with my own eye, I couldn't believe it, the trail that they take up, they're going up the river and marching along the way. Millions of people they're garbage.
I saw that. I saw that the other day on television. The Border Patrol was showing you the litter. The Border Patrol were picking up litter out of the desert.
That's in our country. At least we pick it up. These other countries, they're just trashing these other countries as they're going through them.
Well, come on. You and I have been to Mexico together. It's pretty trashed already.
Yeah. The other thing, Val Jennings has also got a commercial on that's it's a lying, deceptive. She's saying that Marco Rubio has only showed up 40% of the time. Well, guess what, folks? There was a pandemic and people weren't going to Washington. They were Zooming their work.
Oh, she counts that as an absence?
Yeah.
I tell you, she's a dangerous. Well, you know, Richie, at the top of the hour at 7, I spent about 30 minutes going through this, so I'm not going to relive all of it. But what's going on here is the Republicans are too comfortable with Marco Rubio's reelection. They think because we have Ron DeSantis at the top of the ticket, down the ticket, he's safe. He is not. Val Demings. I just repeat one of the things I talked about that really flipped me out. I saw Marco Rubio's new commercial that I played earlier with the sheriffs on it, the Florida sheriffs, and I immediately went online to get the ad so I could pull the audio to play it on the radio this morning, and I did a Google search, Marco Rubio for Senate 2022 ad. The first half page of Google search results were Val Demings, not him, and they were paid, because it tells you that they're paid. Val Demings has spent $11 million advertising on radio, television, and online in Florida, and Marco Rubio has spent less than $1 million. They're too comfortable, and they should not be. She is a grifter, and she's pretending to be a Republican, and she's getting to people, and she's a liar in her ads, and you know what? She's a believable liar if you don't know what she's about.
You're 100% right.
I mean, like, I give you an example. In her first ad that has all the red background, so you think she's a Republican, she says, defund the police? That's just stupid. Really, she was praising BLM and the violence they were committing. What is she talking about? She's a liar.
She's really bad news here. And I gotta say this to you. You said about this signing this executive order. It's going to cost the businesses. It's going to cost this guy. It's going to put us more into a depression. You're going to have regulations that are going to force people to upgrade properties they own. Businesses are going to have to upgrade by law because this guy signed this crap. They're going to spend money that they don't have. I mean, this is outrageous.
Yeah, but see, Paul Pelosi bought a bunch of stocks for 10 cents a stock in these green companies, and this executive order is going to jack up the price of those stocks. You know, this creep, this drunk driving Paul, do you know he killed his brother when he was young in a car accident? Yeah, I mean, this guy's got a history, and I still want to know why they haven't released the body cam footage for the Napa Valley Police and Paul Pelosi's arrest. I know he had some woman in that Porsche. He took the Porsche out that night. Give me a break, you know?
You got San Francisco. You got Nancy Pelosi, who represents the section of San Francisco that is drug infested, needle infested. Kids got to go from school buses to schools, going over these drug people all over the streets with tents and stinking feces. How the hell there's something wrong with them? They keep voting.
They don't live in that neighborhood, you know. And you know the thing about Pelosi and her crooked husband. She's crooked too. You know, I was shocked. This insider trading deal came out. That didn't shock me. He bought but what shocked me when I was watching Fox Business and they were analyzing his stock purchases over the years, and he outperforms every hedge fund on Wall Street.
You know, I saw years ago where this lady bought a whole bunch of property in the middle of the desert, and her husband was Danny Hester. He was a Republican. You remember him?
Danny Hazard, yeah, who had a gay sex scandal after he left Congress. Danny Hazard, yeah.
He sponsored a highway to connect two highways going through that land that she purchased, and all of a sudden all these McDonald's and gas stations opened up. They made a fortune. These people from the inside, people ought to just start to, you know, one thing about President Trump, he put the microscope on these people. They're not getting by a lot of people.
Well, that's one of the reasons they hate him. If President Trump were in the White House right now, Paul Pelosi wouldn't have made that stock deal because it wouldn't have been allowed to go through. And that's their insider trading. Hey, listen, appreciate the call. Richie the bus driver. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning. Hey, Jim.
Hey, I just wanted to follow up with the comment you made about Mike Pence. I'm from Indiana. Used to love Mike Pence, and you're right. There's something funny with that guy that I never saw before. And I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah, he's a very bad, evil man, and you. I mean, I want you to think about this, okay? If he's out there endorsing the Republican running against Kerry Lake, right? That President Trump has endorsed. If he were a decent man, why would he do something like that? Why would he go against his president if he were a decent person?
But he's a part of the establishment. In my opinion, he's been in government how long?
Mm-hmm.
If he was a Christian man, why wasn't he more a whistleblower?
Yeah, I know. You know, one thing I wonder is whose idea was it for President Trump to pick him? Who was? You know, my mind just went blank. Who was President Trump's first Attorney General that came from the Senate? That snake that started the Mueller investigation. I just forgot his name. The first Attorney General. You know, I want to know who talked Trump into picking him. They put him in there as a plant for the whole Mueller investigation. You know, he's got, President Trump, you know, he has these people that he makes famous, he makes them rich, and then they do these things to him all the time. It's awful, and everything I said about Pence, I stand by. He is a snake.
Now and lose their backbone, and I would...
No, they go to D.C. and get rich. They get bought. They open up the books.
I would put out all your callers.
Hey, listen, I gotta run for a break, but I'm sorry to cut you short, but we do have to take that break. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. We'll take a quick break and be right back. Do have to take that break. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. We'll take a quick break and be right back.
The longest running radio show in the state of Florida. The Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Oldies 95.3 and 96.9.
All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how are the metals looking today?
Looking very stable still, with gold holding above $1,700. Silver up a little bit this morning after being up yesterday. Gold closed yesterday up $3.50 at $1,712.80 the ounce, while silver was up 5 cents at $18.75. Platinum was up $9 at $875, and palladium closed up $22 at $1,804. This morning gold's down $2.80 right now.
Hello, Peter Navarro, please. Hi, this is Brian Craig. We have an interview scheduled? Oh. Okay, I'm going to put you on hold. I'm 2 minutes away from you. Hold on.
Platinum's down $5 at $870, and palladium's down $14 at $1,790. The dollar is a little bit stronger today after being weaker for the last couple of days. Oil is, and that's pretty much where we're at. Everything seems to have quieted down, pretty stable.
Yeah, and you look at these prices, this is a great time for all the metal purchases, right, William Youngerman? Yeah, can you tell people what form do you offer the metals in? Gold, silver, platinum?
all of them in the most popular forms. We have gold in bar form, and of course in all of the popular world coins, including the U.S. coins. Silver, we have it in the bar form in all of the popular coins.
Yeah, that's right, and everything is available for immediate delivery, no matter where you're located. By the way, William Youngerman can do business with you over the phone. They open up weekdays at 10 a.m. Located in Boca at 150 East Palmetto Park Road, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway, on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. Online, WilliamYoungerman.com, or give them a call toll-free, 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. All right, William Youngerman, have a great day, and we will touch base tomorrow.
Thank you. You too, Nick.
All right, we'll be right back with a great guest. Don't go anywhere.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, welcome back. On our celebrity hotline, we have a household name in this listening audience. He served as assistant to the greatest president ever, the 45th and 47th president of the United States, Donald Trump. His name is Peter Navarro. Peter Navarro, welcome to the program.
Well, my brother Brian, I so much appreciate you having me in. I am officially now a resident of your great state. I'm going to be shuttling back and forth from the swamp here in D.C. Down to Florida. So,
Well, listen, Ron DeSantis' Free Florida welcomes you, Peter Navarro, and I got to ask, that is news to me. How far away will you be living from Mar-a-Lago?
About 10 minutes.
Yeah, it sounds. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Oh man. Well, I'm sure to meet you in person. We'll have you in studio because we're just down the street from Mar-a-Lago ourselves. You know, I got to tell you, Peter Navarro. I've talked to people like yourself, and what's frightening to me is I'm talking to someone who's a political prisoner in the United States.
Brian, my story is actually unique. My lawyer in court has argued it is a case of what's called first impressions. There's never been a senior White House advisor put into leg irons and tried for contempt of Congress for basically doing his duty to the Constitution of this country and the Commander-in-Chief. And that's the big picture kind of thing. And, you know, for your listeners, I was one of only 3 senior White House officials who served with the boss all the way from the 2016 campaign to the end of what we love to call his first term.
Yes.
And, you know, my remit there initially was creating jobs. I'm proud to say it helped the boss create 500,000 manufacturing jobs. That was kind of my office at the White House. But then when the pandemic came along, I was kind of one of the early warning guys in trying to get the PPE and all that stuff.
Yep.
The China travel ban, and there's a lot. I helped save millions of lives.
Well, I'm one of them.
The FBI, which is my judgment, disgraced itself in the eyes of America with this. Usually when they charge you with what's a misdemeanor, which is what they charged me with, they're what's called voluntary surrender. And they didn't do that in this case. Instead, they let me get all the airport, took me down with 5 armed agents, locked me in John Hinckley's cell, leg iron, strip searched me. And so I want to I was
unbelievable.
Pointing out 2 things right now. It's like facing, I've already had the cost of over $400,000 on lawyers. It's going to be $1 million suit. I'm asking people to buy my new book, Taking Back Trump's America, for 2 reasons. One is a blueprint and battle cry to get Trump 24. And I didn't know this when I was writing it. It's also going to be my legal defense fund.
Yeah.
You know, when people buy that book, the royalties will help me pay my bills here. It's a system of justice, this circus that we're witnessing, and I think everybody in the audience. It's like they had the phony Russia, stopping them from getting the White House back in 20.
Well, we're not going to let that happen. I'm going to ask everyone in this audience not to buy a copy of your new book, Peter Navarro, Taking Back Trump's America, but buy 2 copies for that legal defense. Now, I wanted to talk to you about your arrest and how this went down. They arrested you at the airport, and I saw your press conference. You live next door to the FBI, but they took you to the airport. Did they do with you like they did with Roger Stone? Was CNN there for the takedown?
It was a similar scenario in the following sense. Let me take your listeners right in. So I'm sitting here talking to you, Brian, and I'm looking at the FBI building. I used to be a field goal kicker in high school. I could literally kick a field goal right now and reach the FBI.
Wow.
That's how close they are. And they had been to my home the week before in the middle of the night, slapping me with a subpoena, so they damn well knew where I lived. What they should have done was a voluntary surrender, which is like they call me up and say, we got to work this. They didn't do that. They let me get all the way there and then disrupted the passengers by locking me in the jetway with 5 armed FBI agents. And it was just so over the top. Now, here's an answer to your question. The first thing I asked them was whether I could call an attorney, and they would not let me do that, which was a violation of my Fourth Amendment. But then they took my phone and locked me in solitary for effectively 3 hours, so I couldn't talk to anybody. And Brian, within nanoseconds of them taking me at the airport, that was all over CNN, NBC, 80. Everybody knew that Navarro had been.
Wow, and leg irons.
Flying to Nashville to do the Mike Huckabee show.
Oh.
And, you know, it's like they wouldn't even let me call the Huckabee's producer. You know, it's a live. You think about it. There's a live show that night. They put those guys on notice that, hey, I'm in leg iron.
Wow.
Listening here, you got to understand, they didn't come for me. They didn't come for you. There's no reason on God's good earth why they should have pulled that kind of crap in this country. You know, that was straight out of the
Well, they have this fantasy. They want to have this narrative that all the president's men have been in jail. That's why they harass you guys and the great Steve Bannon. Let me and something else. When you came out and did your press conference, when you got out of the lockup, it was an amazing press conference, by the way. But when they put you in John Hinckley's cell in your press conference, you said that wasn't just a coincidence.
No, look, they were making a point. I mean, it's like, okay, let's think about this. The guy who shot Ronald Reagan, one of the greatest presidents,
who they just let out.
What's that?
Who's now a free man. I don't know how that's possible.
Yeah, they're equating that with a senior White House advisor who served with distinction, saved millions of lives, created hundreds of thousands of jobs. And the only reason why they were arresting him is because the Congress and the White House under Trump are in a pissing match over the separation of powers in the Constitution. Right? I'm like in the middle of that. It's like, you got to be kidding me, guys.
Yeah.
Like there was some funny parts. Like the FBI agents had a hard time finding the right door to whisk me into the dungeon.
Oh man.
Strip search. I've never told this story, but I'll tell you this. This is part of the strip search. It's like they didn't want me to hang myself, right? So they had to take my shoelaces. But like I wear like boxer shorts underneath my pants, right? And there's an elastic band in there, and they couldn't figure out how to get the elastic band out of there for free. It's like, dude, And then they went to find some scissors so that they could cut it, and finally they just threw up their hands and let me have the elastic band and hoped I wouldn't kill myself.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm laughing all the way back. And the other thing that was funny, and it was funny, is like they put you in leg irons, and there's a guard, nice enough fellow, escorting me to my cell, and yeah, he's like walking at a brisk pace down the hallway. I'm supposed to follow this son of a bitch in leg irons? I mean, you can't walk but more than a mile an hour in leg irons.
Yeah, it's outrageous. So let me ask you, because time's running short here. The show's almost over, but I got a couple things I want to ask you about. You know, what you talk, you know, this January 6th Kangaroo Committee that's right out of Stalinist Russia or Castro's Cuba that you and Bannon are dealing with. Their ultimate goal is to keep Trump off some ballots using that old Civil War law about so Jefferson Davis didn't become president and General Lee. Are they gonna be successful finding some traitor Republican establishment governor or some Democrat that's going to keep our great president off a primary ballot, saying he took part in an insurrection? Will they have success with that?
That's an open question, and it never should be. I think the broader strategy here, I'll give you the spectrum. Worst case for them is they take the president down by just creating the illusion that he did something wrong, like they did with the Russia hoax.
Yeah.
Russia hoax, which was perpetrated by the FBI, mind you, and Hillary Clinton. There's still a lot of people around this country who somehow believe there was something there when there wasn't. It was like a sham hoax. They're going to try to do that with this January 6th thing. But on the other end of the spectrum, they're going to try to indict the president and put him in jail. And, you know, one wonders whether they'll put him in leg irons.
No.
Pelosi, and she said it. I mean, she is on record as saying she wants Donald Trump in prison. Okay, think about that.
That's crazy.
Pelosi the hell out of that.
That's right. Well, listen, making America great again is not a federal crime. We're with you, Peter Navarro. When you speak to President Trump, tell him we are with him and we love him. Legal Defense Fund against this January 6th Kangaroo Committee. Peter Navarro, we got to have you in studio since you're now in Ron DeSantis' free Florida next time.
I promise you I will catch you next time I'm down there.
All right, take care. Peter Navarro, thanks for your time. Everyone, just a wonderful man, Peter Navarro. Honored to have him with us. And you know what? He said he's moving 10 minutes from Mar-a-Lago. That means, in my view, the announcement is imminent. And President Trump is getting his team together and around him for the announcement. Oh, man, this is the Steve Kane Radio Show. My name is Brian Craig. This is the longest-running radio show in the state of Florida, on the radio since 1977. And that fact that Peter Navarro is moving near Mar-a-Lago just made my day. Oh, man, and it should make yours as well. We are here weekdays from 5 a.m. till 9 a.m. Your calls are always welcome. And some great calls today. And we've been hearing from a lot of new people on the new stations in the Treasure Coast and the Palm Beaches that just started carrying this program last week. Welcome to the mix. And if you want to learn more about me and Steve Kane, go to our website, stevekaneshow.com, K-A-N-E, stevekaneshow.com. You can also find me on YouTube. Just search Brian Craig on YouTube. Everyone, take care. Thanks for listening. I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig.
South Florida's Good Time Oldies is here. WWNN Pompano Beach, a VCMG live radio station.
Yes. That was news to me. I did not know he was moving to Palm Beach. Oh, man. All right, guys. Hey, listen, I got to run. I got a lot to do here. I got to pick up that baby formula to mail to Utah. And I got some business meetings I got to take care of this morning. But, hey, thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. And I'll see you soon, guys. Take care. And, oh, don't forget, before I go, click the notification bell. You don't want to miss. We started doing this a couple days ago. Every night, overnights now, we are rerunning the Steve Kane Show, just the audio version of it. So if you miss a portion of the Steve Kane Show, you can catch it in the evenings. All right, take care, guys. I'll see you soon.